I 135 days na fe na akwa wiye no na mekanfo ama say ade bia wo se wotimi ye na ede anigye ba obi mu no ye why ade bia ye wo se wotimi ye na ede anigye beto obi akoma so ede sire beto obi ano ye na nipa bibro ho no mu a wo ma ye din na so wo mu wu wo mu huna mane eti de ye be ya ede sire ne anigye ebebre wo mu no yenye na entime mua papa ye kakra wo ye no obi a wo ye papa bia sabe o sɛdeɛ ni sunu ne ban ne na de tie bia ne papa ye nti no obi ehu ne sɛ ne ho ɔfɛ oye obi ɔyɛ sonko oye obi a ɔdam nua ɛyɛ papa why ɛyɛ yiwuyam na yɛ papa ɛfa ma unua ɛnyɛ den sɛ wo bɛma nneɛma mu ayɛ den ama unua atase ɛna ɛden so sɛ wo bɛma nneɛma mu ago ama unua saa semi ɛyɛ kasakoa entitie ne yie na tu so anamon na wafemu de bia yesa wo ye de boa ama serie to nipa ba ko mienu miensa ano bia no ye ne fe boa enei enche ne nipa ewu enei enche ne nipa efri atiasefo asase so enti wo benya wo yonko mena sepa kosi da ben enti wo bu befu akwa kosi da ben enti bibini na wasa wo boa na de serie ne anigye eto obi ekoma so a na waye na ho hare so waye na entem so kai esa wo yo nipa wo ye sonko you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are important, you are special, you are unique, you are talented, and you are irreplaceable. Obie ne ho ebetimi na si wanemu. Ade a wo ye no obie ne ho a obetimi aye bie fi se wo Nyankopon obo wo sonko, obo in a special way. Or the niema sonko bi wura wo mu a ebi ni obie mu onko na sa de no ebi wo mu. Enti utilize san ne pa no na enti me fa serie ento of from anno. Ebusuafo awie me chechia obi biara titru Nana Jenny Boate Nana CPC Nana Mwama Hene Nana baby awo bia me chia wa wie sonko na me ka che say ya feel papa nana ya feel pa Honorable Boache Ejiako former energy minister ewie baby awo bia me mal good afternoon Dr. Christopher Mpedu Samaritan Africa executive director enono ai ya mal good afternoon what dear way you need 24/7 every blessed day 365 days. Edi 230 days, you know, one ya ena edi wafidi and unyin free had the biada yad wasepa and wabusia. Reverend Eugene Appeal Redu or also so a year so for penya or da Fisi Presby and no papa one money abusuani na away ye mamo a very good afternoon. Na a tear for muti nyina mo amoba befre mo amoshe yen live munyina away me mamo good afternoon. Echiamo sonko se ebribia mojebre na mutie yen taking it for granted the biara da erade enhra mu pi medin e de mame biama kwafo betimi afreme yamzi 1 betimi afreme woman gada betimi afreme biama brofode betimi afreme mame soja ni nyina afreme a ejo so ya bi afreme a ejo so do awusiafo enche e de kana ubeba medame ho sanse niema bi ekoso a ha adwene niema bi ekoso a etwa nsunumu ade ne yeye ade ne akirei ehini yakọ entitiye be ne ade ma ye mai yenkoda na egi ye nsam abusuafo ade ne be ye ade agi won niema asayi o te wonhunu ye a niema sei etwa me hotel maba
mental health related challenges and for her in fear wedi empo emofran ketwa a washa fi kosuku she obre a wokom se obi overly stressed and we one of the things a bit may affect your quality mental health she mofrey e bia ofo ne tekaso anase bia otisohun nsanwen ahomache no nan ne mofrey nyane wo mo yenkosuku otena ka ni mu ana oda Safwi, Sanyo Koswa, Nia, and Nampa, a bit me affected, senior, wide generally function, no. And I young share one way from the vulnerable ones in society. Safwi, a bit me the Abinjia Bawanso, or bear then were to me adjusted to the new situation. Aiming now to me the mental health related challenges. Bah, and Faho, Lipa Baya, you who say be a dean dodo, meaning was a shedem dodo, and I dream a brandy we no sister come a yellow near maybe be a kama. afei de ase wo twe ne ho a ye mumpini sa nkrofo no na afei ye ne wo monkomo ebia na kodena na adwendwen bi da no so anase mpo ne obi tifie na ebia wo se ensema na nsen o keka no ensisi so papa areho nyum kwa na oto ewiase we de ma bredodo eno ho nyum kwa na oto mete mawu se ni fie na otototo sa na wato so a ese ye go pini sa afwe ebia na bibi na ekoso wona dwene na ama epi wona no anase ne ne no eda na di nti no de ne ho siesie anase bia onka ne ho mani pa ho nti ne no nso ye wa adwuma ye
I
have a question. I read a report yesterday that broke my heart. I saw how much Ghana owes, but I also found that apparently the Minister of Finance's company or former company is a transaction advisor to the monies we borrow. So as Ghana gets poorer, the Minister of Finance's company or former company gets richer. Is this what we want to continue in this country? Do we want to elect people into office, give them their pay and their perks, and then allow them and their friends and their companies or their former companies to be the very beneficiaries of the woes of our country? This is not only about the Minister of Finance. This is about Parliament. Parliament, you must be ashamed of yourself. You have failed the people of Ghana. Because I don't think from the time of Nkrumah to date, whoever is the Minister of Finance should be benefiting every time our country goes to borrow money. Is that what happened under everybody in this country? What precedent are we setting? Yesterday when I read the report, I was so broken. And I was like, do people know this? So I called 4 different people. Some in civil society, some in government, some in the former government. And they said, oh, but this is general knowledge. And I'm like, it's general knowledge, and Parliament thinks it's okay. So whoever wins the next election will also set up their own companies and be the transaction advisors when we go and take a loan. What is wrong with us as a people? So the person's motive for even going for a loan for me now is not clear. Because every time we take a loan, their company makes money. Does this make sense to us as a people? Look, we have leaders of industry, some who have been, deprived of their finances. And in the meantime, the people who are sitting in power are stealing us blind. And all people can tell me is, oh, but this is general knowledge. What a shame. What a damn shame. When they are out of power, will they want whoever comes into power to repeat what they are doing? This is not NDC MPP. Parliamentarians, you are supposed to help us protect the public purse. You can't just go and sit there and vote, I am MPP, I am NDC. Vote your conscience and vote your constituents. The MPs, but you cannot become the transaction advisor for going to take loans when you are the Minister of Finance. How is that possible? They are the legislators. If they won't speak up about it for the whole country, but for me taking time to read this much over the weekend and yesterday, I wouldn't know the details of this. So now go and bring all the loans we have taken and show us all the transaction advisors and see whether they have links to the presidency or the people who are the ministers or the people who are in legislature. Why are we doing this to ourselves? What kind of nonsense is that? Hey, conflict of interest is where it starts.
So Shrine should be on the ball on this one.
And where are they? Where are they? Look, right now, Ghana has become each one for himself, God for us all. I was speaking to one of my staff yesterday. He said, boss, I want to buy gas. 14 kilo cylinder now is 152 Ghana cedis. 150 Ghana cedis to fill the cylinder, 2 Ghana cedis for the rubber. When I take 152 Ghana cedis out of my 1,400, how much is left? Now water is going up, electricity is going up. And some people who we have put into positions of authority are raping the country. Why? Why? Sikahiana Mubedi. You are leaving it for your children, and your children know you are doing this, and your children will come and tell other people's children that mo papa and mo bra. Because you were stealing from the people. So those people whose parents did not steal from the people will be suffering. And your foolish children will come and tell those children, Mo papa and mo bra. Baby, mo papa and yesika. What is this? And nobody wants to talk about it. Because if you talk about it, they'll impoverish you. Hey, Masa, obi nkuwa wa. If nobody kills you, you will die your own natural death.
People are making a lot of noise about this matter.
Okay.
But several of the people who are responsible for assisting the country out of the difficulties that we inherited and out of the difficulties that have subsequently come are still in place. And many of them, for me, have done an outstanding work. Their output has been considerable. And that's what I look at. There's an issue about reshuffle or the performance of ministers. It isn't as if it is something that every now and then my mind comes to. It's a daily preoccupation for me. I'm required on a daily basis to ask myself whether the output of particular ministers is up to the mark. I am the final authority, and if they're not up to the mark, I'm required to act. But if the output measures the expectation, then I don't have any strong reasons to heed the call. The calls come from all kinds of reasons. NDC wanting to destabilize your government is one. There are people who are also looking for jobs. I'm not disputing that there is quite a lot of attention on it. But I also think it is important for us to have a really holistic look at this matter and be certain of what we're doing. But as I say, so no responsible leader, president, prime minister will announce, I intend to reshuffle my... No. If you're going to do it, you do it. If you're not going to do it, you just continue.
Okay.
So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, we see how far can we brand so no na mabohu kakra maboshik. Mene on say make asa nyina no asa maboto kakra. Maboto because niema ekoso kwan ye fa so a enkoda a wo mo enyini ba no niema wo mo da na the revelations a wo mo yi da na die no in fact ano oden ano ohye yenhu se abayen no na na batete no na enkoyie ana womo ede womu sunu womu ban firi baabi no womu de aba ana se ede poten na ekoso because minim se abatan a ye wo womu mefa se from the 70s ba no womu nya special entity bi yen so ye mano so na te se womu edwonkolize ye mano na yen hunu baabi yen fomu fa ye mano na esuban ne niema wo mo da na die no ebro ya adwene ye nte ase so te se ase eya gensem eya jabata ne nsem o ensore so ne kwade ne ye nka ensore no ye nka na die pa na beba abofra ya tete ne firifie emu se miko school no memfa knife memfa dagger memfa edie biempo bibi a metimi die pra obi memfa nhye me ho ase bia me ko school ye sports anase mpo no minimia wo ba ntawanta waketo bi ba e dia wo no ana me dia bon I mean sa adwene no sa thoughts no ya ne free he efrifie efri said your man ye titie ana edien we yakwakoye no ho bambo ho nsam enti ye ne bambofo panyini baako yera Emmanuel Kutin or executive director Oda Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism ano yene no edin komo wie na yewie a etiefo yabamoso na yehunu kwan a yede ye ma no ebefa so zakote na wie ye mo ha eba nit fm mementi so
yefo nyina so wie
yo etiefo eje so pa wedi eboko nanu na nsensem a yetetefa yesukufo yonse yesukufo de da bi yetensem firi wo ho but as come say as na nsensem a epiepie no anu ohye anu odin ehia se bambomu no yebeye bibidi afa ho so oman se abatan anasempo no se suku a yewo mu no se yase yabohu kakra as security analyst no samutin nsem bi se ya edi aya na ya ekoso omutirimu.
So that's it. My sister, I don't think there's any form of surprise about what is happening in the country, especially if you are in a society, sociologists becker that almost values and the culture are broken. That society doesn't start to function properly. There are three things we have to look at. It's from the societal point of view, the home, and the state in general. When I talk about the state, I'm talking about governance. And governance is not necessarily the government in power. Maybe say, after elections, when it comes to governance, it's the responsibility of every citizen. Until my from the societal point of view, I won't say yes, fine. Oko school cry. Now, we are there. Na enye kwan so no obi uhu a na nipa kro nyinsin wa obe call your attention and bring you to order. But see how ukota obi ba na adana asem. So now uko hu obi ba no oya de na enche ya. You want to mind your own business. So it is a clear departure from the traditional cultural system, and we fashion all these things in the name of modernity. And that is creating a whole lot of problems. Share 3 days ago, okay, our students be involved in armed robbery. As a student, it is the moral fiber of our society. And that falls on to the second point, which is the family. Okay. I know things are difficult for everybody. Despite that, it is the responsibility of we as parents to mold and fashion our children to be responsible tomorrow. They didn't bring themselves to the world. And I'm sure if we're not responsible enough, so the family system is also under attack. And it has to do primarily with the gradual process that we are not looking at. Our culture is fading out. And every person or a group of persons are identified by their culture.
Oh.
The religious frontier is broken. Yes, I know. There are so many religious schools, from the Catholic, Presbyterian, Methodist, in the Manema. The proliferation of one-man churches at the doors. The preaching of kingdom and miracles in the Manema. So every human being is looking for a shortcut to life. But there is no shortcut anywhere to life. What they are first now? If you shortcut the process to achieve something, that out of the value chain, at a point, it will come back to haunt you. And that is not what we are not putting our minds to. And the other point, the third point, we training in our total because of time. So there were questions, baby, sir. Then I can go back to each of the 3 points I'm laying the foundation on.
Mr. Putin, yan share 3 points are well raised, Nafe, you can we are not be for one nafe,
Okay, so the final point, which is the governance. Say every country has a responsibility to its citizens. Taxes, but third world countries, especially in Africa, it is as if they are doing citizens a favor if they do something for us. Because sociologists say It is the duty of every society to fashion out rules that govern that society, that society can function to its proper ability. So is the state to its citizens. Share your educational system, my sister. Ever since the fourth Republican Constitution you call into the SS system, no, we've been playing so much with our educational system. Obehon say students because 3 years, they because 4 years. Obehon free senior high school, double deck system, anyone deck ne ekika. Education is one kind thing we should not play politics with. So me and them, I'm afraid here as Ghanaians out, we have to start a national conversation to see how we want to fashion out our educational system. Any country that educational system is broken has no future because the human resource capacity of that country will not be fashioned out. So the ECOSU, no political party, no more be propaganda, more power, no more be say. Then you take them out. Not one voter, another party, no more be no INC. No. Is that what we want? Why can't we have a national policy on our educational architecture, right from the kindergarten to the university level? Like that any political party that comes to power, you can touch that such a system. Because of that, stakeholders within the educational system, they are very powerless to act. Okay, when the stakeholders of the WAS senior high school almost they had the news say almost students were arrested for armed robbery. I'm sure you read the press release of Mudibai and the kind of engagement only the parents of these students had and the outcome. And all this falls back to the broken society we are having. And there are a lot of influences. Proliferation of social media is one, free internet access, and the lack of how you can monitor your children into gaining such access. In there, and I'm putting it on record. Betting companies are more groom her. If not because of the betting company, our youth, they are or groom her at the park. But my young betting is it good for us? It's good for our society. And then take time and do a research. Children as young as 12 who have access to phone are on the phone betting. Omo pesca diade. And it falls back to Zama Mikikaye. You are a parent. Your young child of around 20 years, 23 years, Abefia Watoka, and also Kiteska last things, and you are happy. In those days, if the moral fabric of the society was working based on our traditional values, you want to know the source of the wealth. But once it's coming to me, irrespective of whichever way that happens, and that is creating the challenges we have. So there's total breakdown of law and order in our youth. They don't kind of respect people who are older than them, and we want to fashion that in the name of modernity. And that is the problem facing we as Africans. And I think we are like a Trojan horse that we don't even know the directions we are going. And just like you rightly pointed out, all these things have serious security implications now in the medium and the long term.
Mr. Kuti, Mr. say, what do we do? At the end, as I say, from the home point of view, as a society and as a government.
You see, we have to go back to Genesis and trace our traditional values. Those that were positive, we dwell on them. Those that were negative and doesn't fit into our system now. Like in those days, our female genital mutilation. So, person colano beni no promiscuous. Those things are outmoded. Oh, but idea that will make the child to grow to be a very responsible citizen. No, I think those are the things we should go back. We should see as a people, no, especially in Africa. They are dying traditional values in the name of modernity. Ukaya, festivals be and they were the rallying point of every tribe that annually uko, then you rekindle some kind of fraternal spirit. This year in the whole. Second, the religious churches, the issue of preaching for prosperity is no more about hard work. It's about an individual God has invested power, and if that person doesn't pray for you, you can become proper. No, the country must put the laws in place to regulate our churches. As someone said, the churches are the biggest problem and threat to the survival of many African countries today than our own values. And until government, and when I talk about government, I'm talking about the state, just to eliminate the politics in it, can fashion our policies to regulate the church, especially the one-man churches, the family system will continue to be broken. Before, divorce was something that was very rare in Africa. Your parents will take you back. But today, in the name of modernity, look at the rate of divorce in our society. But when those things are happening, the laws have been passed out to protect the woman and the children. There are societal safety networks for the children who will be affected by this outcome. But Africa, is that what is happening? No. And many of these children are coming out of broken homes. But the sad reality is that many of the things happening today, they against a broken homes, but it's rather children from wealthy families because of the social media and the kind of films and telenovelas almost in the they want to live a gangster life because there's some kind of money at their disposal to purchase some of these weapons. And these weapons, they don't even purchase them. It's their parents' weapons. What did I say? So it's a whole mixture of things. We have to go back to the basics. Because if we throw our culture away in the name of modernity, about 10, 20, or even 50 years down the line, Africa humbe and bobo.
Mr. Coutin. Let me say, Commission for Small Arms and Light Weapons. Ube assess woman Juma saying, Juma no woman are they doing enough to check these weapons are ababiting confonsum?
You see, I some of us have become a talking shop. The Commission of Small Scale and Light Weapons in the UAE, I brought some suggestions some time back. If I remember, many at the Cabre at the Sankomwe. The amount of illicit weapons in our system, and those years. And there are a whole lot of factors that account for that. Because our porous borders and many of the conflicts that are happening within the Sahel region, these illicit weapons has a way of crossing. And because of terrorism phenomena within the Sahel now, studies are trying to say terrorists and armed smugglers, they have many things in common. It's like you scratch my back and I scratch yours. When these armed groups provided space for these armed smugglers to transport the weapons across, they also supply these illicit weapons to these armed groups. So how do we get rid of these armed groups in the system? Yenya arms amnesty to begin with. Give a moratorium. Obi always have weapons within a particular time to voluntarily bring it. And it's not that you are just bringing it. There should be financial incentives. So Udiba, Omubemo Bibi. After that, we digitize the system. One say there's a law in place that any weapon that is within the system have to be marked. When they mark weapons, how are such data collected and stored? And see, if we digitize the system and put this system in place, it is by law say if you register your weapon, periodically you come and do renewal. So over the period, with surveillance, you'll be able to eliminate some of the illicit weapons in the system. It's very difficult to eliminate them entirely, but you can minimize it. And the critical point here is to make sure that your blacksmith systems, manufacture local weapons. We create a market for them and regulate them. And that by itself can even bring revenue to the government. Because the Ministry of Interior, they can generate a lot of internal revenue from that too. Because we don't regulate, almost manufacture these illicit weapons behind the doors. They manufacture these weapons and sell it to the bad guys. So, and you say, the solutions are not there. But I think that the government has not got the political will to put the people who have the skills mindset to make some of these things happen. If you can shout, you can sit on TV, you can sit on radio. No better did you political opponents attempt, and answer you can cook out some figures. And based whether those figures are even correct or not, they hail you as a hero. No more appointments were had. No more appointments were. And that has been the fashion. And then I'm used to say our list opportunity. No, what did you opponent ourselves? Meanwhile, in essence, what do you mean, Ben? And it is just about the discussion we are having. If our moral fabric is right, even the African tradition, it will forbid a younger person to sit on TV or radio and insult or fantasy or yani papa and penny for the sake of political expediency. So I feel as a country, a time has come. We should have a conversation, see what we can do by way of a national development policy and what we can do politics with. Propaganda and no politics now dorsum, and it is taking the country gradually backwards. That's
for a Joe. So, Mr. Emmanuel Putin, Openyin Kese, Executive Director at the Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism, and Otesian no AD and Komono. Mr. Putin, a church mu abie bibi so. They say, ya mamma, ya money, ya tutuni yana say. Kakranka, we are wiping out. And kakranka, yeah, pepa. Yeah, pepa. Because some of the Ghana, the young to abroad, and said, or maybe to say UK, for instance. Oma dying that the be any home, saying. Tete are dying, but connect at us all. Ghana, entity are dying away. Entity are dying away. And gradually, no, ye pepa ya mamre ye pepa ye bibia ma ye Ghanafo ye gina se Ghanafo no ye pepa kofa abrofo edie enso ade ba ko a ye ntimi pepa kofa abrofo de ye kwan ye fa so dwene ndime nwene yi ye dwene yi ankenye asetena mu ye ma no ese ye kwa anase ye ba ide me ogidie mapasese ye sha se frifie abusua no mu a bebo ayen because ye can say charity begins at home. 0302243540 0302257902. Which me afraid now do I drink trouble. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, baby. Afraid.
Mr. Abdurrahman, let's say this please.
It's you, Abdurrahman.
Mama, we have a problem as Ghana. Not the subject, we are start to see your 70s. It's here. Mama, me papa sabe no or the aba to me or the aba the message ni. Sabe yes papa no Jimmy o. Open ye. San your man kitin na a shape here. Apala you which I know or to me say at any time or to me at any time. That's who did the chi. It is sabe be a shia na so nipa no obeti ya na so nipa no be police station e dey yamaye. Shey na no mo uniform. Which na kwa so illegal dey na wa makwa na abakuru. E ta kwa we tie ye nyina okurum ha. Wo ka se me ya mega wo bi ko preach say Jesus say ba. Say dey who can charity begins at home. And na me nya mega for na me start preaching. Parents of these days we are very weak. Totally we are fail. Me da se nya me ka wo.
Mensomeda Sipi. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
About your dinner, baby, Afrifi.
Yo, I'm your mom. Your friend is here. You're going to want to say Fabinko.
It's you.
Yeah, I'm your man. I'm Shamu. I did my family of my Ghana. Now, I didn't call it. You meant to say, and for almost social German calling social. I'm your man. That will phone to come. Sakola kostu no koya de tete bi tiana na wa sakola nsa se mi tete bi chairman aya o be chairman aya na no man tete o ko so bi chairman no man tete no wan chairman de e na hwe ina ba nye keni film ni na je film de ba ba e de ma so hwe kola de ku ti no mu ya enya kura ni ba de ba ni hwe ta obi no bi agro no ate kakra ba no iska no so de wona kola nti no hwe film no e ho ti wa ho sia. Mati omoyi that's confusing. I yin na ma ya bad and get him now na. You mun need futu ka groma na. E di sani ma se ko so ni na kwa ni to no ti ni ho no hwepe. O so ni bi tali mi ano ha de. E so ni o kwen so e bone. O ye yi. Benda ma esremo. O me pa fo me so. Na fi no mu ye na futu ni ma futu na mu na e ya bad no. E ko mu nka so. Ande ma nyame nsa pa.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mani soja.
Yes.
Mani soja de ya we nya bia so bi enka.
Na mo akoyenko.
Mani soja na ko kola afo nya e wo ye me na entu an mani soja. E de ne si e ba ye. Mani soja no nya be da dan ko pes no. Na wo ye bitu ko amanone na ko wa. Da kwa ma ne bagana. Ya keno awa gana ha no ni a nya ko de wo no de gana ta ni yan yan kala wo su tike ni ni right amanya de bono su a o tia no ana so obona a wo su ana ne nkra na ana o bia ka su de o ya man bi ya message de yan ko no na ya bo su fo ma ya tia na unyi ohu tike ni na o su tika no am so ja e be se e bi tia o ta tike ala ni mu a ni mi se ekoso owo mema nkola mponi edo na asode na do ati ebe tuta no na asode ho de but e ni ya ebufu a ene afaka tike do abye e na social media ati bi ekoso e control for ati video omu dimpen for owo social media yi afaka ko mu social media o fese ya de pa na obeni ye so ni ya de bi twa de e twa do na so ja de na ya sempa.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Pacho dini baby afrefi.
Your friend
Isaac, it's you.
Mama Jama, as some I want to say, more generous for no. Mona Muma Kwema Nyama. Now let's give youth chance. Let's give chance. Mufama wabo wa mushi. So we want to make radio so. No, yo, minister, oh yo, president, oh yo, the mumma chance, Madam Muko, I remember. Share America, share other countries, what from Pennyful. No, what do any? America, apart from Obama, oh no, a young guy. Kafuni na 70s, Nadi. For some, obey a baby, because I'm Mufama chance now. What's it like? Give you chance. No, Mufanka say, yeah, well, the Mufama over Benny. What Vienna? It's a moja, it's a madna. I am moja, let's give you chance. Mufama Wabushi. So, a bit like something. Otomi Janipa, rough. No woman tells more.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
Catch you, catch me.
My name is Wamakwafo. Russia and you. Afternoon.
Russia, there be a mistake you for say we catch. Mati you, Afra.
Catch Madam Fosu.
And Mokasa yase.
I know where break. Na me so we James Town.
Yo, Mati yanko.
Media no ye. I want for more single room. Wo onu say. O single room na we ya na o. Me kata obi enwo. Da osume o plan o. I that that 2-bedroom set for stay. I am planning. So anybody the mood dia go the car. No more to come back for die. Linya enye almost find my body. After that so say apada wo me start by 2 months. Say apada o de be dia go. Uso nyia Baomi obesise polo obekita Mr. Me driver first me wa boflanu na me di car dia go pa se amadani driver e tu pa mo wa that you say ya na ko ya asanfufo last for this obekaya you see America for that 14 years okokum ni ma for that for bye-bye.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If I told you, baby,
I just want to make a several from Korea.
You, as I tell
you, I ask him, you, and then we are some of your baby. I'm just saying, you are Copa and I'm going to answer me every. Mombrophobia, no Mutaka King.
Prophet by Janimo.
I almost if I would be, I am
child rights.
Some Profono and one MCP. I go pass out how you say you. Go to my boy about to cry. And you then cannot quite different. It cannot quite different. You never buy me, but yet that's it. Depending on them. Penny, you put it in nothing. And yet, what I say. And he. Mama ya kisi yefanya the problem ya na maya korede emwaye mincha mo peja kwai
ojo so me da say na me bisa say e de na beba abofretim abofrenya mfiedunum fiedunsia dunso etim se okosuku a onfa se kan hye ne ho onfa bibi e bepra ni nua bi hye ne ho I mean ya wa ha na ayi emse kroboduma senior high school or so eno akwara bi woni ne mate wo manya kasa ena your friend is saying omutwa so wie ye no omutwa so ye ode sekan ekwakwa wo no kun no just like that. Hello,
good afternoon mami ahokedia.
Good afternoon Pacho Deni baby afi.
Se Pacho robo pati buati ni o mami bia ma tamu ye de
adom
yo yango ko hia papa ene papa ho ye mami bia ma be dem ba so me ma chia pe papa buati ja so
ya ne
Pacho se
ya no
yo pa cha o da roma we de wa bua me omo an ne mai ska to credit nti papa bo cha ja kon me chia papa ono na betu franka man piti na oba se kakan e go poncha papa yi matuma me kan say enu na go poncha papa piti fm enu na how ne say no no ba yi yi program
okay
awofo abaga na haya omo hu kwala oni me na wi asia me hu bida se babo no nkom hye ana amra bata babo say emre di eti no awofo so de meba na we de buru so dodo enkwala mu ko school a wo ko sia tete ya asu school mu na mo enyam prasam ne mpesem ana mu ko mo ya tun sia de because me ko school orobo ti fi primary school me we school 1990 mame obo akwala so afani so ade a ne tete mi ka ebo boro kwa ne etu mi ka koje ene de enkwala aba emu ade omania somani ton oka o se mo town ne de bajimi mire ana awofo no so bi ka ho awofo no etimi himaduku ete teacher ni abone baba wo himaduku aduku yi na echi pa papa na ko teacher ni so teacher ni ko donto teacher ni na braba ni teacher ni anwoda o me bai ade ndie that awofo bi ka ho abache pray me ba ko secondary school me tell say ye unye nyina me de mawo unim na ko bokro no ni echi ukotumu a me judge ni so ofon tum life imprisonment ufu mu fia o de be ya disiade o enkwala boy enkwala bone ma ne buru so ma me oni nyango ponya jwa wate
Medasipi. Hello, good afternoon.
Any about my house?
Oh, ne penye ya ejo.
I want to say,
Mr. Dome ho ya na so e.
yo, I mean, I mean, sure, why?
Amen.
Na nitia na na jeni mboate. Ushia na o save and still.
Be catching.
Yo. Many about media, bia me kate. Abrabo bia nyame asem nim no. Sanete. Ene omanya yi mhwene ekoso. Na no yese opoku ware nkwala akowiade. According to we no akola ba ko oye teacher ni ko kaya na ne papa ba school wa be na tem. Na nye school for nko. Omanya ye timu a ye hu bibia ye ntwenka. Ene ke nkwala etiti bensi. Adwuma be na omoye. Ewu di e ekoso krom ha. Mpanimfo ka mu asem. Enne tete omanya ye timu bi nka obi asem. Na me say e wodo ebe ba ye ni. Enne akola sopeni mu ya me bisa se nti wo mu nya wofo. Me me tie na me ba di pani atem radio so a. Mentu me ba na foto wo yai. Ye to su biom me ba no wo ko school America tro. Me wie form me nya boaf. Nti America tro se wo ko no hwe wo yi. Na me ba wo wie SS mpo ansa mama wo fo. What you say? Ehun nya me dina yi. Ya ma banche na me ku yam na me kura. Because of social media and same who are omudi was 20. All the some phones in the channel mempe. What you say? Inti akwala cop school. Na uko top phone kakrakani ade the manual. Me uko na me tufo. Me sa bia ma me nka se minto. Me kro nkrofo me nu ko ya ade. Ya de won call court na ye find the one. Ba kuma me gina court dan na fi no sign aboso. Ba kun ye de na call no mabo. Inti se usi su na ubobra. Se nipa wo ne no nam. Obi wa asamba obenye obi am ya koyi no na wo e na abata mo me ntia ye ba na dati yan hia ebe ha ye nkasa ni aba oni ya me adu
Medasipi onu penye. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Bajo di ni baby afri.
Ja ko kuma ti kanisi.
Yeah, original it yo.
Before apanya na inshallah. Really. Na yeah, we go my friend na phone. Na ya ka mo mo papa abrofoma no ni su papa no. Ulu da me da den ko kwa da me kata. Ye ko na no. If our phone da. And your phone. Call out say and your phone. Because what I know, it's Kurano. Akora be ya wo wu wo ya bra ya wo nya wo bekan wo ma me eno entokwa ije ani abi so enkora no awo no o tem mo madam ana o madam wo eno ene ma wo nya da awo ko e mo ma ni o mo nya o ma ena do wo bekan na je o ma kata o mo tem so ni ada dia ni
me dem no be anje phone because abroko ma community quality phone here woni nyame nya adwuma
That's CP. Hello, good afternoon. Bajo dini baby afrefi. Hello, Bajo do mo radio no why? O radio na yete wan kasa de yente. Hello. Aha. Udini baby afrefi.
Me different phone.
Yo, yete yo.
Most of them number different dress na ya wa na ya wa and then man no wa na man ni bi ho mo a omo ofa pra ba tanjem let's say abala no ofa se mini abemen iti o ye bi ko awu ko la ye bi mini abemen ko mi atia so agora no ko fa no ba agora ni on drink let's say we want that ya me say wọ́n ọ̀fà sí ibi àdúgbò ní wípé ọgbẹ́ ti láti àmì ọ̀nkà sáà ń tẹ̀lé bá. Ìdí àgbàrá ní wọ́n gbàgbá òkú ní ìdúró. Lọ́dọ̀ àgbàrá àtúwẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀ṣẹ́ ní gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ ní wọ́n wọ́n. Ìdí ọdún sọ̀kà ìdí ẹyin tó sọ̀kà ẹ̀yẹ ọ̀fà nínú ẹ̀fẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣẹ́kì ẹ̀yìn. Yàrá kó oṣù ànàfà ẹ̀yẹ ọ̀fà kò ṣí ẹ̀yìn ọ̀gbà ẹ̀yẹ màmí dùn. Ẹ̀yẹ màmí dùn sọ̀kà. Ìbí sọ máa dùn.
Miss Sumida CP. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, my media man.
If I told you baby afrefi.
Oh, yeah, I said, my back.
It's you, I say.
Mammy, I'm going to my far away. Mammy, my friend, that John Dramani, Bahama. Very much, baby, papa, yeah, Mammy, I saw my dear, a year, papa, bed. But the Subuaba mind for. No matter Subuaba media, Tituni TV station. And then Ghana Fima, yes, every senior man, and then you Obronia or country. That be Obroni or country. And now Obronia or country, and the year in the film I said, near Fiano, near yesterday. I said, you put me a chair, time of Sutama. Your coach, a drama, or planning at them. 90 papa womb. And now you're here for us and put young for faster and post. Not a one open your bed. And the deal of the best thing I rata. We need to kill in it, mouth. Or the Baba. Well, it's media maybe this one boy and Yana. Society idea one opportunity. And I saw chat. Akwala on the power. Akwala on no maybe 12 years in or one power. And now we'll go beside and I will go back and do go police station. Says I will drink out the affair. And then you see and Akwala, and then you want Akwala. Third right. A better can be right. The Benya for right. The Benya and George to right. Ever. Then on my Ghana for the airport. You come by my yes, people. You will need drive. I didn't ever teach in Egypt. I be funny and just say yes. And I brought food and so and the phone and the Tiana and Palati Papa to the crowd. I want respect on the mouth. Decided I was there before I drink any of this side right, Yaba. I didn't took my book. Negoba Yesu Christo. You won't have put any of it in a baby ma'am. And here be the follow so the account. Umi and Kaya who near the black room. Near Sian and I know what it is. Uber Jamestown. What did it come by Jamestown? And a boo. Yeah, gentlemen who are not but to dine. I know my own dine. And they are German in answer. And he has here and they yes, Yabro. Nimbia Blakino. And then I can't impact at the mama. Me as well as
That's say. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Nyamia Domo now, sir.
Kumasi Brown, Rosia,
Talankajini. It's you.
Your mamma bought me near my ocean is some more time. Not a pass to bar. Now, Mama, who is Aquabata? yes, you. I will follow you. Papa. I didn't in America. Get a walk school, not that big. Or teaching at the idea of playing. I will put my Bible so no more put them more, no more than more in top of the country. Let's understand you. You are very one year to crown. No one can come. Emma and Colana. I was school with the morning. And the idea I will follow moving like Yakamove. By any night, young vampire, I want to say. Then I am one person to play. And the Bible practice. I got your final a companion one, the one through one through. And tomorrow for one job, one time one channel. I don't know, planning to our Fabian and new side, and I saw about Kakasaya, Kazam, and I champion for. Continue, maybe a man and my dear. Name it to 2 more, and let's now, young man, Yanni now.
Miss Medas, hello, good afternoon.
Fine afternoon,
But you didn't baby afraid.
But your family,
It's you.
Oh, Michelle came for. Bia, you can a Japan, Bia, the Michelle. Mambia, I'm saying, I didn't know you know, so fine, I will follow you. Oh, say, we are back now. A fine of the first one to go ban. And no, Miss Banya, about Prano, over Danny. Oh, maybe Catherine and God, I see, you know me and Galami, and about whom you see more car. Now, a crown will not 6 years and on Pambia, not a crown, which we put to make up 6 years old, no, who can come. Oh, yes, and the next part when sooner, I did not quite sorry, I saw go to Sierra or no woman rather no woman be. What can say that I won't be no woman rather no woman soon. Tell you better if the way I made your content. Oh, Sadia, I'm the end of one or bodies to eat. Yes, who say, Sabi, or Nini in a number for Nama, or the Muslim. Say, only that I'm up on a number, and was a chain number in man or Wama one that a form man be winning said, Seven never found be any fee. Oh, if you're born a bravo, said you will sit here. And I'm so a bra, a computer, now, or more better fee, I see, almost at the end of online. Nadam Baku, for so, papa, or papa, or on a laptop, I say. Meanwhile, now, for so in a laptop, no, maybe more idea. The money for laptop for the man, no, they need any balance of the oh, the well, but yet, Bano, I don't know any of Benante so. Now, Pamba or Modia, any day on the cold world, let us see.
Men so medasipi. I was for the kind of no eba every year and come my twetwe no o your batan na and that dear ebusuafo na dear somewhere pia wie o so who say your first akusie pia wie na chese scatter fan woni bom o dey ate for meka na yesi wa hanu a kire mo na yenhwe oyibo boate no chese atwuma ne behi. No individual is bigger than okay. No, yeah. Politics aside, now me say be obi edibfa topic kan ho asem no abanaka makenkan ho message na so far bibia sa emaye mama hwe Enoch no do we first amankas no say Ghana is broke because of the bad leadership of okay no be bad politics side no I just say ha any de kana wonu ye de be say but about time umi hwe ye o Umiere ye na ye dua no eno eso aba ene ye betwa da wotete wo ba yi a so beba mfaso ama wo nkokora bremu mere wa bremu no betena se ama wo koma to yem na nka me ne nyankopon a ena me nyankopon anka kwa abefa so a wo betete wo ba no saa na wo bedane de ama wo enye onfa nkwa bonten onfa nkwa bonten da de wo betete wo ba no na kwa dane saa no de abawa wo so for torment fi hofo for torment mo bari azie na mo de asua nyansa enti yesrɛ mo abatan yada na mo me sorry because enema nkoyie e wo ye man side o enema nkoyie ma yen sorry ida mo ase nana kwabila jomo ye budi dia ba o kumasi odai bani abranti ali men driver wase se hian mo anye kase na no kantumu so kameka.
I have a question. I read a report yesterday that broke my heart. I saw how much Ghana owes, but I also found that apparently the Minister of Finance's company or former company is a transaction advisor to the monies we borrow. So as Ghana gets poorer, the Minister of Finance's company or former company gets richer. Is this what we want to continue in this country? Do we want to elect people into office, give them their pay and their perks, and then allow them and their friends and their companies or their former companies to be the very beneficiaries of the woes of our country? This is not only about the Minister of Finance. This is about Parliament. Parliament, you must be ashamed of yourself. You have failed the people of Ghana. Because I don't think from the time of Nkrumah to date, whoever is the Minister of Finance should be benefiting every time our country goes to borrow money. Is that what happened under everybody in this country? What precedent are we setting? Yesterday when I read the report, I was so broken. And I was like, do people know this? So I called 4 different people. Some in civil society, some in government, some in the former government. And they said, oh, but this is general knowledge. And I'm like, it's general knowledge, and Parliament thinks it's okay. So whoever wins the next election will also set up their own companies and be the transaction advisors when we go and take a loan. What is wrong with us as a people? So the person's motive for even going for a loan for me now is not clear, because every time we take a loan, their company makes money. Does this make sense to us as a people? Look, we have leaders of industry, some who have been, deprived of their finances. And in the meantime, the people who are sitting in power are stealing us blind. And all people can tell me is, oh, but this is general knowledge. What a shame. What a damn shame. When they are out of power, will they want whoever comes into power to repeat what they are doing? This is not NDC MPP. Parliamentarians, you are supposed to help us protect the public purse. You can't just go and sit there and vote, I am MPP, I am NDC. Vote your conscience and vote your constituency. The MPs, but you cannot become the transaction advisor for going to take loans when you are the Minister of Finance. How is that possible? They are the legislators. If they won't speak up about it for the whole country, but for me taking time to read this much over the weekend and yesterday, I wouldn't know the details of this. So now go and bring all the loans we have taken and show us all the transaction advisors and see whether they have links to the presidency or the people who are the ministers or the people who are in legislature. Why are we doing this to ourselves? What kind of nonsense is that? Hey, conflict of interest is where it starts.
So Stride should be on the ball on this one.
And where are they? Where are they? Look, right now, Ghana has become each one for himself, God for us all. I was speaking to one of my staff yesterday. He said, boss, I want to buy gas. 14 kilo cylinder now is 152 Ghana cedis. 150 Ghana cedis to fill the cylinder, 2 Ghana cedis for the rubber. When I take 152 Ghana cedis out of my 1,400, how much is left? Now water is going up, electricity is going up. And some people who we have put into positions of authority are raping the country. Why? Why? Sikahiana Mubedi. You are leaving it for your children, and your children know you are doing this, and your children will come and tell other people's children that mo papa and mo bra, because you were stealing from the people. So those people whose parents did not steal from the people will be suffering, and your foolish children will come and tell those children mo papa and mo bra. There be mo papa and yesika. What is this? And nobody wants to talk about it, because if you talk about it, they will impoverish you. Hey, Masa, obi nkuwa wa obewu. If nobody kills you, you will die your own natural death.
The mechanism need can one or shemra no boa ema J3, especially with mental health authority. Yes, sir. Yen dwen ye na yen fa nneema nwa kwen na yetumi abon J3 eden hyehye pa esi wachi na watumi aye wadwuma na baako a meka a ekire se etoda ye mental health no ye di diagro kakra so man no ode manonka enimienu wohwe mental health authority ne board wa esese omoboa ehyehyɛ nneɛma de nneɛma gu akwan board no yɛ integrity yɛ kra no eni bɛsɛ bosomi no yɛhwɛ sɛ bi a mental health levy sɛ yɛde saa deɛ yi ba ɛno betumi aboa ama kakra yɛtumi abɔ mental health authority Ghana Psychology Council yɛabɔ mu dwetire na ɔmatumi de aboa eden hyehyɛ pa gu akwan mu yɛhu sɛ bi a obi ayɛ din dodo ne wɔ hyehyɛ dan mu dodo ana adwumam abrantie we na ɔsresre kama yɛ no nneɛma bibia kama afei de ase wɔtwe ne ho a yɛmmɔ mpini saa nkrɔfoɔ no na afei yɛ ne wɔmmɔ nkɔmmɔ ebia na kɔdan na ne adwendwen bi da no so anaasɛ mpo ne obi tifie na ebia wohu sɛ ensɛm anansen wɔkeka no ensisi so papa awerɛhɔ nnwom nkoa na ɔtoɔ ewiase wei deɛ ma brɛ dodo ɛno ho nnwom nkoa na ɔtoɔ mete mawu sɛ sɛ ne fie na ɔtotototo saa nnwom na watoatoa so a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛbɔ pini saa afei ebia na biribi na ɛkɔ so wɔ n'adwenem ɛna ama EP wona no anase ne neyɛ no ɛda na di nti no de ne ho siesie anase bia ɔnka ne ho manipa ho nti ne mu no nso yɛ wɔ adwuma yɛ
there's all kind of there. Because the MPP party, Muslims, and there's a Northerners for the only fit for vice president, unfortunately, because we are MPP party, MPP party, no, as an forum, a Gomba forum, Agbe forum, Obia and from the history of the party, yes, and the President Kofo, ethnic to see, Papa, Mama, another Mamma Coco, the vice president. It's just Obia or Chinaso, a person president, non-regional so point mean because MPP for you and as akasa it's me man ko focus apathy the statements are because your mama kasa MPP for the WN no not ID president in the end and man ko for na more party na mo so free obviously there are numbers and I person winning election with numbers okay 2008 we won with the statements we in the United States, yeah, sure who you know from Kabumamba, irrespective of the flag bearer now. Bet my ask I see a party because some Northerners are in around all the city regions. That's a bit with like I said, I don't know, yeah, disrespected Northerners are done them. As a general secretary and a new executive, I'm sure they will find a way to put everybody in order so that we have peace and unity. At the end of the day, the core prime is now Nipa Banko pen a bit may reading. And Jobe Wilson or the Nanado Danko part of the legacy in Juma country and the and a president so promises you break it. If you break it, also you do now we are the Yamid 2 million man. Then you are to break it. Then inshallah 2025 it's nice as well for every record say first party in the fourth republic as also hand over to the same party. We are to be sorry to be the president. Not necessarily one person, but I believe it by the president, Kumba needed by the president, Kumba needed by the president, as I needed by the president. I'm not doing ethnicity here, but we should not do anything that would jeopardize our political growth in the NPP.
Neat FM Routier or high Neat 100.9
The best station in the capital, Neat FM.
Osa very mo
The best station in the capital, Meet FM. The best station in the capital, Meet FM. The best station in the capital, Meet FM.
Neat FM Neat FM
Area was young for Sabrea, no, me no about Sima, Ediasa, Emenu 232. And Yamia, don't mind penny for Ababisham, and then somewhere a go up so I be a home and commono. MPP address you, dear woman, Nina, and therefore my Ghana so, dear, a woman, Yuralan, Kojocha Matia, see a trocrata, Edia Quacomano, Efa, drew so health work on home, and hopes and Adoyan so, Yato South friend, so maybe penny for him. Drew so health work Korea National Steering Committee Omoda NPP amayukwano say womu Asia na presidential aspirants nyina womnom ne ba behia efa kwan waso mutimi etoto wom ne ma mbara ne hye de agu akwa say womutimi edi so na etumi aboa SHS na Free Senior High School so former President John Dramani Mahama na no asan dem bie wa campaign mi bie twemu essa free SHS policy no e wo see etimi sesem we dey wo see yesesem a na yesesem e the private schools so aba beka ho isan se sebe wo mo so epoto MF wo mo di bomu a eyeye Ghana for emma ene wo yemfa private schools enka ho. Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and wo mo so aba bonten e de anuye fe kofi wo mo di abre former president kro ya na no call apiate baby a gas explosion ekọ so ho no mo no ya chichiri kro no foforo wo mo nwie so a se o manfo no camp e na wo mo etie na wokokan se e wo se empata sika bi ho no mo aban ebo moden ana otua e de ma o manfo no ansana o manfo na ni abo wo ho so no matam aban no e de no akokot ne no e na Lands and Natural Resources Ministry no e de anu yi aba se eka anase eba empata sika enya aban aso die se so opata ade hia ewo apiate embremu no sa e na wo mo ka we ne nsem hodo e na afen so no policy rate the Bank of Ghana increase policy rate. Hey, Ghana. I dread. Eti abusuafo me mpanyimfo na wie wo mo ebeboa me atwetwe nkomo Ira Emmanuel Alote Alote NDC communication team member Misaya Wasanita no ono so political analyst na sana esa asem ye beboa awramo no misata no bibisa se enkwada and one of the newspapers the buy say senior high schools ofra no omo ko school they go to school with weapons ade bia ha dwen ana asane eniema keka kono ya hwe yi a etututu akokọ so schools mu ewo amanone no ye de be west. What's your opinion?
Medasi abefa ko yeso na menche adwuma ko farba mo ye adwuma ha na ahwefo ne atiefo nyina as usual no menche me serial callers and serial testers the parties mienu no nyina emma omoni enko mo ho ama eje the new general secretary for the New Patriotic Party and then the communications director say omo embo modina omo robo these serial callers and testers now they are capable of helping in the communication arena no omo for the mainstream communication enye adwuma ni mum mame anopa my first appearance on one of the networks I saw this topic on front page but unfortunately it was not one of the topics to be discussed, which I wasn't happy about. Now I deal a lot with history enti se me kama sem ne bia na nkrofo agema asiboni but it will only take a group of people and as nkrofo a e bia sabe omondru omo 40s mu na so omondru kropo a e bia they did not have the benefit to read Ghanaian history. Nti de yehu enei social media ka homo pastor wo ka the historical antecedent emma ya bedu baby aduna blame everything squarely on the UP tradition and the MPP. Fine. Kwame Nkrumah ebedi Ghana so no. He had a deliberate policy. Say so better take Ghana nkola for them to see Ghana first and also be committed to the cause of Ghana. Until young pioneer, now your ideological institute, you training, youth. Now young pioneer, no, they were in charge of most of the productive sector. Yet, Shiro said the obuo city. Said the SA will make sure say ubebu panini. No maybe emfata obeye. Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Hong Kong, China, Iran, those Asian countries. No, I am telling you, sir, they have a deliberate code of ethics and now say ideological training from omo childhood. Into yakola kura wo nyini a won di best 5 years no. Onim say the president you can't touch him. Onim. And when him so say you cannot come from your country and come and insult them. Or mouse aquano. Until they groom them from the scratch. Now you took Kwame Nkrumah you go ideological institute. Now young pioneer entity and you the man a youth no. Adding yina every hono. And no na a can't hold the dear baby. In fact, I have continuously said the problems of Africa is because of the UP tradition. So more than 2 Nkrumah and can ya 40s near 50s no. And can Babe too say Africa was already united.
Then can even almost no cry and come at twice ideology process program.
And now you one district, one factory, which was there before. And now Mabunya Jumaye say your Makwan say ya. People were sent to the farms. In fact, Brofuna, yes, Kwame Nkrumah Pama Brof. One more. If you read the 7-year development plan, any your friend is saying the autobiography of Nkrumah, there was a process. Omutra higher Juma Chepa Brofuna, Omone blacks no. But Nkrumah made a conscious effort saying, Yaji independent. It is important say before be taking hold of various positions. Inti Abrofuna na omun to me and shape before so they went voluntarily. Ebiso ya Juma Chepa and San Omufria. All those history is there. Inti Sata na se ya makwanya. Who for Abrofo any before you Ghana for ya. Omuko commander omuko twa ahwede. The videos are there. You find say we broni and we bibi. You ko twa ahwede. Yeah, they feed the commander sugar factory and other factories that were thriving. And ne Mabunu nya dwuma nye. Obabunu eye bibi e wo school mu na say teacher panahye no a ye say ye frɛ bibi human rights, child rights, whatever. And na school ni a won do JSS kropo omutumi gange up ekobu omo teacher. Nti sa publication na ba yo nipa no kura na ogina gate ho a wo monitor na omo search wo no mo ye ono kropo ne life is at risk. Because they see Mabunu baby omo kodu no there is nothing, and they say the devil has worked for the idle hand. Until we have not created the environment for the children and I said the youth to be happy. Obi woho, ne mame, ne papa, single room. Until I want to mean not them hobby. Until there be or sabonte. Segleminadani guha e prono. So these are the social normal and besi ye be ye. Now obi your baby pardon in theater. No one who said me dada me sorry I me kwakwa ye juma. The jobs are not being created. And no can enamas sanoma way. One say, I forwarded some video to you sometime by if my memory serves me right. The video appears to be from Nigerian descent or something. Omukum nipa be say 5. Atichiro omunsa gu omochi. Na de atwa me srum pa ne oba. Ya born sebe naked. Na ye twa ne ti. Sa video me ntumi hwe bi I just deleted it. I could look. Na power youth wunim say oba owo wo mame wo no ye oba na wa sebe oba na daja wu twa. You see say young correcting normal the African leaders omo aye bibia to say it is themselves and not for anybody. Yet this youth ya no mo kun amu vote mamo mo ba no mo ato mo jejem. These are the reasons enti asade edi enya na ya hwe ne ya it will even be worse. Because as we speak, no crofo mo de normal no ebo call armed robbery no. Enya crofo mo nya 58 ni system o youth no. If you don't create the jobs for them now, it will be worse coupled with social media. Sabe in conclusion no emma social media omo dwa omo ho e na omo de pesika. Days of old, these things was an abomination. But why? Because oni adwuma nye. Nti de bema na nya bibi ya sending is case eno no mo ye eno na mame edi enya no na awofo so yentu ye manefo train them not only say bia the Islam way and as a Christian way but what training oba ya no matter what religion or belong to no he will behave well.
That's it. Adote
mami
Bremo mame your opinion on this?
Mami fa konyo wenchia etiefo nyina na menchia ahwefo nso on social media amenchia me party paying for anya so too and this paying for nyina me che obi anya so too I mean sure obi anso nyamedom ye branch elections for about 194 branches nyina I mean sure obi okay okay na secondary school in Sensem there aside weapons of medical school no dan say so me say Okuwari. All the students no echo town. Echo we are there. I think say
okay, I said before Poku worried the no, there was one student be no or that as a Benz no demo said demo no muko shoot no kuno just like that.
I think say the school authorities say omon form onansi na adwuma ye dia hye wunsem no. They should do it. I mean without fear or favor. That's what I can say. They should do without fear or favor. We are relaxing the rules too much. Because those days are your secondary school. No easy. Who teacher and headmaster bar.
Not bad.
Hey, when I say BBI normal. Oh, I think the headmasters and the head we know say Ejumano is so. With this free secondary school in T, number nakosu. In this area, those days no. Ammonia in Crawford say 1,000 total number of students in the school. I could name by 1,000, maybe 1,500 say 2,000. But they should make the rules work. They should relax the rules because when the rules are working, once they know say because my child there was private secondary school there. Look, maybe I remember child there those days, 2005 and 6 no. Secondary school no. I mean, there was line be imaginary line over school no. In fact, pen and marquee and I say chalk. And him say line way who a boarding house and I say who line way who KO FIE. I'm not joking no. What done so man?
Wow.
I don't want to mention their name because every say I mean market in their mom. What done so man? Omonim. Yeah, 7 grade SS.
Okay.
That is why I taught after university.
7 grade Princess
Academy. So we be secondary school. It was the same than so man.
Okay.
And see me, yes, I thought yes, Mr. Brown.
That the school is
it's still there. The owner is Mr. Brown. You lie, but mommy. There's imaginary line. And see me, those is not my name. See, one day, Mijina admin block. No, I wanted to give something to the students. Say, if I go see you, my friend knows. No, I can't come there. Me a board. I'm like, why? And say, line be down. Me chemwa. So I came back to check the line. Who be there for more? But I want to say the bricks, they laid bricks on the ground. And the bricks need be no. Nkurani the beer line it does say, who line we more? Who KO FIE? And the man will sack you. You a teacher, and I say, Nkurani right? A much raw SSC. So many idea. He will tell you are the problem. You go home, not the student, because uchi am only yanka. I think so. In fact, that man in the school, no, they be I use the school as an example. Say the school be will be managed that way. There will be discipline. Look, mommy, a class of 37 or so. Omunina ko university. I'm not exaggerating over here. Omunina, I say, we were super teachers. But rules said that one in yeah, my homeworker, dormitory master will sign. Who a day student, your mother will sign. Secondary school, DSS. So, and so make sure more exams, whatever you give them the final exams, they've seen it before. In a classroom, so a whole class can go to university. I'm telling you. Maybe wow. 2007. In Tibaja, maybe almost started 2005, no more 2008. Sabajina ko university, and some of them are bankers, doctors now, nurses. I'm telling you, near the system. You are a platformer. So I know we know them. Some of them are military officers, after civil engineering. In this hard discipline, no. I was like, if every school we manage like Mr. Brown school, then so man. So I think say the teachers must enforce the rules. And I feel so teachers so.
Maybe on a situation whereby teachers enforce rules, not parents teachers.
No, I say, Mr. Brown school no. He will tell you, I don't need your money. They say your school fees is secondary school. You see, it's not about the money. I allow the parents to talk to me anyhow. Once I can flout the rules, but no, KO FIE.
Wow.
Yes. We have to, that man will tell you, I don't need your money. I need more because it's a private school. Almost classrooms are air conditioned, lab air conditioned, glass building. He will tell you, yes, I'm spending so much, but I don't need your money. And you wants me and follow rules. KO FIE. I'm telling you, it worked. I think one Sunday in every month, every day students, including teachers, Weber. Teacher one day, no, I mark you. Second time, are you reading? And teachers were perfectly working. But if you're able to survive there 2 years, you can work anywhere.
Wow.
But the rules are, your static class is 720. na uchi ade nso a wa brɛ you can't sit, you stand and teach. And Saturday no who lessons 2-3 hours. You stand and teach throughout. I'm telling you. The only time I'll be class is Abia and our office every teacher be cubicles with air conditioning. That's where you sit down and write. A whole crumble and say the students cubicle. The rules were strict.
I hope so it's still the same.
Yes, in the 2 years I survived over there, no, me will say I can work anywhere. Until I make call banking, it was very simple for me because I know how to follow the rules. And now Honzu, every 2 weeks be out here, you know, mark class test. Will be or share you will go through. In the Quran, follow. In fact, I was not shocked. Say, only say private schools normally omunya students with the I guess 6 and 7 and so on. Omunya and Grofu ABR they couldn't get their schools. In the ABR, let's say from I guess 12 to 20, and it's true. But the whole science class in university, I'm telling you, the weakest boy, me who was like what? Not my free I call Barclay before. See, me home we know. Me share guy and also me were telling him I said you was shocked. It's because near much of they see it on paper. So I think it's the rules. They should enforce. They see base school. These are the things that Oliver boarding house. When encounter. Why must the child cross the main gate? After the inspection teacher knows to not a real boarding house. No. You see phone. But someone in Corano, a phone was school almost free and they be and the parents are happy. They see no phone. The phone should not be there. Why do you keep the phone? And I feel so some of the parents to account. Or see me buying school 2 months maintaining. Go
there and visit her.
And saying because of the COVID nearby some of the schools until PTA meeting you can't visit. It's a PTA meeting or more used for visitation. Into a them PTA interact with your child, then you leave it and go. But I don't think say if you leave your child 2 months with the teacher no. They can't take care of the child. They say, in school, they are learning. Oh, so the parents should help the teachers. The teachers must enforce the rules. Wow. How can borders, every free school say, cut down? Then they go and steal. So we are day students. Then this one lies the doorstep of the parents. Because school, you must make sure say, open 3 by 4, no fee. We see there. So both parents and teachers, but I think at school, no, they should make their rules work. And I feel so bind to because the teachers are also afraid now. Because the rules now, saying who the cane a car, yes, Uber 7 gates be a yes, you don't cane, but the rules work for both teachers and students. Okay. And to be a needy, Emma school, so the resource is always good for the school. And I believe, say, I always say, nobody say remedial students a doors were. Me I always put it at the doorstep of the schools, no. Because me who it was 7 grade. Which are then year majority will pass. And I feel so if you're on them every day, in America, class work, homework, there are a number of homeworks
especially you don't tell them.
Yes. And a class test, when you know the weakest in the class, no, or question, sir. And then you come what is and your name crown will say away, and away say. Something. Yes. So, you my rules. Now, parents, you should be strict. But, now, saying parents, no. Yes. Send a treaty, we are doing worse. Say, Corano, you come all. You call a KFC. You call how. You see, we are not so strict. Let me say a time, night, and I'm from. You cry and shabby. Now, say, you talk V8, you talk as a case, but let's be strict. Maybe say no. But fear, seriously, my boy have told him, my phone so don't talk to me. Or you can't come and be shouting what's on the phone. And they say, let the child understand. Life is about rules.
The time you are to say with a phone, I will know because before they come with their complaint.
Say, hey, don't talk to me on the phone. Do this, do that. And our phone so my rules, no any you more fear. Now, I mean, it will work.
I think, sir, Nkola so minor. To me, Angel, we should review that law. 17. You are old. Yes. In fact, a BIF family from to 15. Because Omuna, they are committing most of the crimes. Until we should review that law. Now you make Omu say, a Wusa now Koya way. And another answer, news be one. I am a day. Per the newscaster on a Sasku for na come master. Or can say. It is known, say, omo yen kola boni wo school pa no omo na omo be greatest, which I don't share that view.
And I'm saying nipa interpret ade ni.
Yes, and I mean
mostly omo be great no. Obo old school no say bia wa bon. Unima de obi of or drop out. School drop out and say na no. Ya na niema bi wo mu a we don't see it.
Exactly.
The day bia first say why school drop out and just say oh you want to be making. Asa we yakola boni.
Yes, we yakola boni. Nti
se obi yakola boni. But finally no, odani pastor.
Nti
no omo ka say nti yemboa omo na omo oneti omo talent.
Once nipa na commit crime ne dey say punishment for that.
You see nti no ye ka say we
punishing we are.
Yes. Yemboa omo said dey be and I'm saying I don't share this view because there's no scientific proof. So mom young collaborate they become
let us Messiah Sanita no and afi bena Emmanuel adote alote and wo mo ha no mo aye person ensem mo na fe
na no so a good boy pa and the oye
in nkola brem
no so a good pa na na hwe the
okay when nkola brem pictures bi a mem dey mum
let's go humble pa na kwa me nkruma geology ko na ofolo pa and hwe ba bi o dey
so a CPP ni
o hwe na wontie kashi on enu bi no ndi u kasa nkola na mo yakola bon no mo ye greater.
Okay yen hwe na issues horoba miensa na me pentim pacho be four issues na make ho asem. First one no policy rate Bank of Ghana increase no say ba be affect loans ne ade ba be affect businesses ne ho kro ne ba no eda ho no mo eno dan chance so a NPP mpanyufo yes say wo matro letter akwa ira lanchematen efa aduru so health work no na no koye ya hopes na do ekokasa wase hopes so ya summon before mpanyufo and a national steering committee ehia mu no ma streamline kwa mbefa so a code of conduct no all presidential aspirants no wo mo ebetimi ediso afei free senior high school former president John Dramani Mahama Sanka bio ese ehia review yen for private schools nkan we sense wo so ye Ghana former Ghana taxes omo maame no papa no mutua tax it is here dey hwe obi okwa aban suku a so omo so wo meko private no so yetimi emo be na Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources just say it's not the responsibility of government to compensate the people of Apiate explosion no ekoso ho no etidie wo betimi afa no na wafa na yaka ho asem ye be first and second rounds abanti bi sata no me sha se
me da se policy rating the finance person hey me so be finance person but me bonitem na mame ha adwen say mra ye we mu pa na Bank of Ghana I increase policy rate to 22%. It's say would dream one on tiase na unfortunately no the larger population and maybe uko memphis uko me no ho Western North now no mama ko din komo now can say policy rate across credit
no ya boa be
just say hano and it is even probable so most people in the university as we speak who can policy rate they don't know the difference what exactly it is na ebema noma bo ayede more titru omo productive sector no a sabe omo de loan anasa bosia na omo free banks di omo dwa anasa omo de ye omo production eska na okoji wo hon because ye aban I don't know ye Bank of Ghana there no it means say ukọ bank ankasa kra na okoji a ebi be higher than that yo in that aspect no I feel na normal eba be yedin ma hu so say omo I increase treasury bills I stand to be corrected and also then I'm so no which also is a way of say ombe more fiscal system no into but what we are failing to understand is there's no money hanging anywhere in pockets of individuals papa biao. The monies are in the hands of this few group and they have increased their treasury bills, but they will not push their money there because they know the side effects. Into Ghana for in catching this particular issue short for Alote as a finance person to come in. This thing boy a damn wo krom hapa no ba boy for the bedding The CIA soon ye babe some more. And che bia na anka it was hovering around 14% adamboa. Now one maso ba compare baby and 20 is it 22? 22. We understand. Just say we are in trouble. Until we should brace ourselves because our buying on your not just say productive sector no or bemo mo ha no amomo yejuma almost say one district one factory many other de ba hana ka say omo onjira ne nanso emo 5 this e bia make asa na wotie na wa connect so no akọ church gu ho who can't just onjira ne nanso more 5 na do plan to me more 5 continuously and no achi ya na obe kan say ye work confi and then we have cassava processing 2 peno na do nkasa kra wonim how much more communicators what is the impact of those your friend is saying one district, one factory over the past 2 years or more no, on the economy. Sanke yadi or more driver and can at least you some cushioning of the economic pillars. But there's nothing going on. A significant say we are doing massive export from that sector. Inti yakoma policy rate is 22%. Ambiama obi biara otie ni TFM bianka hu say ensam enam kwan so eba.
Okay. Yo, mami. Yeah, policy rate and a Bank of Ghana. I did you just say Omama so from 19% to 22%. Yeah, cap policy rate. I want to say Bank of Ghana is the mother of all the banks. I'm not sure banks in commercial banks in Asia. Ghana say yeah. And so a set policy rate 22 and only the ceiling. What they mean is bank bia niwa mabusia below 22 obi am 22 or more na ono a oye bank omo bad time or money loan to the banks in 22 no what they mean is say me gi loan wo 22 a say me commercial bank a say me so metu ya ejuma foka metu ya electricity bill metu ya water bill metu ya rent and so on nti me so me de e ma wo loan a me de be be ka ho 22 no say manfa they sit down. Inti say maybe loan no man find you cry 28-30%. That's what it means. Now another point, what it also means is say a commercial banks the loan at 28 any 30 year. What it means is you could 100 cedis loan our banker 28 cedis and yaudia. What the 72 cedis and a fee to come and do business. But on the paper on the paper no much 100 cedis, but 28 a bank nidia, any 72 a wodia. That is the implication. Now say me you wanna say meji loan, the business. Now say they can about 30 Ghana cedis in the media and just translate into 100,000. I mean 30,000 is not for me. Interest now. Means so near me, ejumana me no, and I say near me tono be count and see who told you the price no be because so. Now, my brother Kaino, it has several implications in the economy. And I think you see the problem I always say finance ministry, governor, they are confused. And I will explain. Policy rate is not what you use to fight inflation. Oh, ABR, inflation edu 31.7 in China, but you don't fight that type of inflation with monetary policy. I think they are confused. There's only one benefit. Only one benefit. But there are several effects in the economy. Wow. Last night here, and I can say this inflation is cost push. Our production side, they say PPI is about 41.2%. That's the producers index now. So the problem is on the product, the supply side, cost push inflation. In the Ubejama finance minister any abine to implement physical policies. But they say no, we're here to say or a shadow finance minister. And you are raising policy rate. Ubekai this year, they have raised the policy rate already. That time that inflation and below 20. And he already what is the impact? Because time already policy rate this year, first one, now inflation was below 20. Now inflation is about 31%. So it had no impact. What do you mean? It is not a demand pull inflation. You are raising policy rate, then it's a way of mopping the excess funds. But it can be new. So what are you doing? No, it's looking at only one thing, one benefit. It's investors any confidence in buying our treasury bonds, our treasury notes, and so on. Or raise the policy rate. What they mean is interest rate of those bonds. So investors will be happy to invest in Ghana. And I say, Omu yu musika enkobium, they will stay. Because once a policy rate it means TB will go beyond 28-30%. Then saying TB 91 days and 27%. 182 and 28. And already we know likely say 30-31. No? So it will convince the investors to bring money back to the government. That is one side, which is not bad. ABA and also me fight the exchange rate because the non investor they change into dollars and take it away. And the is once they are getting higher interest, no, they'll be convinced to stay. That is on one side. But when you hear the side of the local businesses, muji loan no.
It's a foreigners, no.
Excellent. And I feel so when you hear for yet Tony Mana ye produce locally no. Because they say no mean to electricity bill. Cost by 27%, water 21%. Wow. When you know cost by the same time cement cost, rent cost, fuel cost, baby cost. So if Kenkia made this and also cost, what are you telling Ghanaians? I think say finance minister, central bank, they are confused. Juma and it should be the sole job for the finance minister. No, say no, governor had the same job, which is wrong. That's what I'm saying. Say, they don't understand anything, but the effect is serious in the economy. Wow, and they must look at it properly. Inflation will rather go up again because meji loan wa bank, me the ye Juma, ebia me ye adebia Ghana for a paper amotono. Meji loan na se me chia bibria. I will spread the effect no. E was so. The price will do what? Will go up.
That's Emmanuel Adote Alote and Oten Kanyami Adum Minua Bema Ernest Adade NPP Communications Team member on also Abekan Adade Akwaba.
Mami.
Empom to say.
Adomia near the number.
Ya no gusua ye discuss policy rates.
Na me tie mu pa.
Aha yo. Yankwai.
Obema me mreke tuabi. Obema me mreke tuabi na Makan semun kiti bi a fa your initial comments na minua asane kano make statement bi statement no hu hia pa na emwa ye nkwala ne ke eye me kan say the okan ye no wa ka boni but a distort your history ne kakra. That is about the theological institute na ye wura kwa ba ye adipa because na church nkwala no patriotism ni niam
de obedo man
say be ya obedo man a obeye bibia boa wo man nti na nkeye the friend ideological institute for a reason say ba na ba besiesie nkwala na adwene no na nso no ebeye bibi foforo na hot na problem no wo no enu na ma no guye nti say obeye lorry kwan akokumase anka enye problem ana meboa na nso say sa lorry kwan na oye kokumase no afedi enkrofo okon na omudru nkokwa na omo amane afa baabi na omo akodi bone na nipa kunkumba eni anka yekofa Cape Coast na kokumase anka beboa emfatu ho ameye ni say ebedru baabi na ideological institute na abedane ade bone because nkwala no na niama ye kyerɛkyerɛ wo mu no na ye kyerɛ wo mu niama ebo papa ebusuantem actions be started taking place na nkwala no were taught say woman me kura na ebi oye bibia be report no nti nkrofo bebre called protective detention na eya omuma eni omuna e call report wo na niama ne bebre wo ha na nkwala ne nti ase nti wa hwe yi na nkwala call report ni ma me na enye se ni ma me se bi ole bi na oye boni bi nanso na system no and the ideology they were carrying no ne nya adwene enti edna edru ba bi na emwa sa aban sesa ana bibi nsesa kra bi ba sa niama no na obe correct nti no nanka institute bi sa nanka eboa nanka ebe kire ye nya da be the American say empenimfo kakra omuwo mu no ti niama American yase na the okan ye no ye wo mu a esua kakra na ebi asa bi ebi ana wan beto na nanom anti wanti niama bi ase no ubedwen say ade no nanka papa nko a na obi be say no be boni na eba mu no na ma institute na nkasa say ma
enye bi aban ya etugu ye no
enye aban na etugu ye no na ma enkyerɛkyerɛ ye kyerɛ nkwala sɛ dɔwo man ye niama pambo a wo man no Enya no na say no. Enti o adaje ni ho nse me che kakra mame de o coffee abisa o mame bi obebo. O adaje ni you know is that please that's not why I am here. Oh mame omo be say program no.
Papa we but then because we know all the people, the players in that.
What dear Potin and Omoka say
about protective detention by not the most people are not move young pioneers any niamano. Omuno mo report to omo ejanum ni omo nanum ne niam. Mame ntwaso. Oh, cause I unim the echoes of Cuba no ne Sankrofo. Ubeti ase na me ka me say why history pa. Enya no na hear me na allocated there na hear me because it affects the economy and it affects us. They say am we meeting bi mu gidigidi pa na oda me twi mu free mu na me re kura fi say mre na aso mre no kopa sa nti me yese me address nyama na ehia pa no no de o ka di twa mu keke me say nya no na hia ye nkese be ye nkwala omo aye omuye ni amohu nsem anase omusuni omuban enkyre Ghana oman ni su ene ne ban no ya de asese ya address ya hono me ni obia o kan ya adwene say obi wo SS not me twituo kosi obi so okọ aka SS the mefa ni say 16 years and below because most of the me I have a 16-year-old girl is in the third year in the university nature say by 13 years now we free SS dada enti say ankwala 13 years 10 years ni niama peka ahunyade a esu broso at that age na on fa kwan papa so sabi ebi a onsua ade ana ebi a ni papa ya business bi na enya sa niama papa e di sa sika ne ba na akwala na fa sa kwan no so de enya sika no na akwala that age 13 ni niama etimi twintuo so okogina kwan ho aye armed robbery ana say ebi asabio so no ani fie mpo ana ne mantem ho no okoye robbery ni niama na nkwala ye sakawa de ye friend sakawa ne ye internet krono pa ye fa abefo kwan so ye fraud na nkwala na ye sa na ye man no there is what we call moral decadence ye enya African because ye no enya ye nsu any ban no uba na yetete ohu pani a ye say
kasa akwa that stage no kra na bia wa wi ankwamunam
enti room maybe na fala na ye sa pani minya we your friends say asane tan obetumi e blame obia but to the extent say 13-year-old di tu akosi obi so e ni Mercedes and e ni V8 and now na no it becomes difficult because akola no minimum ahochira wom to the extent say this or the trio kokro no bo anya nam enkwan mu nam and now okowia ne maame 50 cedis bi ana 20 cedis bi dia akotwa ne ho let's say there's something wrong that needs attention and no okan be honso be bi okan ye nso ba ko ana minine na adwene boy bra kakra and say you better reduce the correctional method no correctional method mean use imprisonment but me use correctional method say bi aye man mra form no akwala at that age no ye bibi eti sa na empre pi no na eye de ye friend no peer pressure any nyama na on sedant de oye na ase
na epia no
enamfofo ana wakohu bibi na adwene be ye ne say look boy bi na ono so okowia obi nyama nketenkete na ne papa oye obi from a very responsible home na nyama na omo say wakowia no e wa obi shop mu no the father can even buy the human being in the shop masabi ofache me but now oye obi a bibi wa omo nsam akola otimi tu car nante na wakowia obi provision shop mu no say omo hwe program bi wo TV so na obi yi magic na no trick he was going to practice me ba boy almost wrestling ye share TV so your first floor ba ya na akura na akwaduna rail no so ahuri ati form na nsam bu okoshe wo TV so say
recently a positive one a jato obi fie mu Taifa Hase. A young boy of 15 years.
Okay.
Etimi hu nyansa ese wahwe bibi o TV so. Rescuers use that process no. Edical rescue nkofo wo gem. Emoti mi practice ko save abofra.
You see where the issues are. Inti enkwala ne bebre wo ho a. He said there sa opoku warefo yi. It's possible. Possible. Me can say that's what it is. Obi amfa nche me. But possible say niama ye kikan bi. Na influence no. Inti sa akwala no when you are to correct the child no, the correctional method no na say ye hwe ni ye. Wan hwe ye na de no koto nsanwam. Obeba na die because armed robber no. Ye de no koto armed robber fo mu wo nsanwam. Obeba na wa ye prophet and America say I won't use prison, I will use correctional method. I am careful in the words I am choosing.
Na Mr. Sanita no ka say 17 years na ye ka say omo ya famra 50 because 17 for so manyini.
Ye the bar for one. Ye be man no penny sentence. America no.
So anyini.
Enti na ye ka de enti a wo age no. Age na ye de ne ko de enti a ye teso ni say yes or your mind no na kire say baby a ye de ne be ko any kwan a ye de ne be fa so no nko ye different from say who ye adults baby a ye de
17 you very critical
17 no na make no say bia watna ma no ne da no omoma no ya nkwala bone ebi chan ye ndie no wo dia hwe akwala otimi fatuo free fie na wa ko school say ni teacher ye bibi ompe na was pray omunyina omunkwala no ya nkwala bone chan ye ndie no but their correctional methods no ye different kakra me ho na ankamene obi be ya adwen nti no we know they are just decided to touch on them quickly the base rate na ye no alote wo bank. But the explanation no na me said antiasie ye because banks no ho so ono wo bank no nim say Ghana ha no de entia ye base rate no so ba 15%. Sorry, policy rate no about 15%. Now still na interest rate no number bi. You will ask why in Ghana yet me interest rate was low. Now you take all the factors now SSI my interest rate in the buffer, including inflation. Time my inflation hitting single digit. That's the no interest rate now, baby. The reason is simple. The Mrana say the bank, the central bank, the bank of the lender of last resort. Ono na bank biya here sika is so core bank of Ghana no kojiska. But so core bank of Ghana na sika na okwa akojini ntimi solve problem no. Na lote bank no. SSI call the money market. No koko bobusia or the bar or the exchange rate nebeka on calculating other rates. Even though the base rate was 15%, now we interest rate at 25%. And no happens say there are other things. Let me tell you, the reason why the risk free no your friends say the treasury bill rate no cost no. It's only one. Let me be open and frank about it. We are finance people. The only reason why government will increase the TB rate at a time like this is because the government doesn't have. The government wants to borrow locally. I'm MPP man. But if this thing is happening, I'm speaking as a finance person now. Obia or what's background will tell you say abani here sikapa. Sabanya and Rezi Adote was car or the Bekwa Kofa baby for. Oh, me, baby, but I am explaining further. Say, the entire Obiabe increasing the risk-free rate, is only because risk-free. They are friend of treasury bill. I buying a bejiska free wa, and he say, "Oh, yes, and it is not because of inflation." It is not because government wants to.
I said it. There's only one benefit.
The American say, and yet say a bino epese in Crawford because the inflation cost royalty and I buy yes sir. I buy yes sir. Encourage you say sika na ehye ubotom no anka odi koto bibia di awie yi no say odi koto ba bia within 91 days no ubenya bibi nti Mr. Asane ton of 50 cedis no or they koto ho now they koto ho aban anya sabi o se opese e bia okoya bibi enne Kumasi force ye kwan SSA ye tua public sector workers kai pese yes no I'm now speaking as a finance person. These are the reasons why aban will increase those things no said ye be ya e be encourage you say usika na that dem no fabra fakoto treasury. That's the main reason. The
government is intentionally mopping up the monies in the system. But nkrofo esika pudu na nkasa wa omo ho no enye ye nkrofo ene na abonte sa no.
Let me tell you,
and they know so they will not push their money there.
Obia let me tell you, enuntina in finance na no your friend risk free. Who was Mr. Adote banks na nkasa banks na e wo Ghana ha na nkasa the meme kosa me ko bobusia na ye even 36%. The ode be ma me no na ye 36%. Na aban de ni ye 25% and now 20%. Alote a oti bank ho no ode be ma aban. On fa me the 36% no so. But he knows we are in a recession. The whole world is in a recession. So if I am the bank manager making the decision, meaning say we are seeing now and now UK I hit it 10.1%. Me say
Mr. Ade you know na memra
America is in recession.
America has a 40-year. You see, Mami Alote. You have deceived Ghanaians enough.
Element for a recession economy.
Mami, Obesa.
Why do you know?
Mami Kasa. Alote. You did finance. I am speaking now. When I was speaking, I said I have moved from the political terrain.
No. And let's speak the truth. The world is not in a recession.
Mami. Enya Alote nkwane ti. Em say enya Alote na menene kasa. Ghana for including wo host no. Mene mo kasa. And now free hand mo a. Who access to any of the international media. Who be share Al Jazeera ye free about Ghana ha. Who France 24. TV's Nibi show. Who direct access who the ma John Mahama ne secretary Alote enka omo de won so ko TV so anwumre say ya me ne o kasa so TV na hwe say e wo ho ene anopa mi hwe on Al Jazeera and sana me free fie say UK has hit 10.1 from what we call disinflation inflation percent. Alote, why don't you let me talk? The American on him say no kre. Me say, ma Mr. Asaneta no uncle fie anwumre. Uncle na TV achi. Next week or ba, on be ka say Kwame Adade betina ha no boa. Me say ene e wo TV so me ne wo ka say. Say UK has hit a 40-year highest in 40 years. 10.1. If the UK who was in disinflation finance for no who ko jebosia who ko jebosia na me ko je 10 cedis na ya ka cha me say me betua 8 cedis. The Scandinavian countries were in disinflation. Say ya so onu a who ko jebosia na wa ode bi achew ode who ko jebosia na ode bi achew na say na onu a hit 10.1 40 years ago and our hit is and the UK is saying that since the 1933 Great Depression, I know what I say on the American, what kind of ready finance? Since that time, no, a bill see that America, America, more problem with the American is in spite of all these things, I buy beer and mobilizing money. Me say Yewura Mahama, Ebejina or no cancer, or young vote. Time Mahama. Or what opportunity?
Yes, if I'm
Ghana. Now, be problem be new. The world was not in a recession. In all the recessions the world has faced.
Thank
now,
you.
Now, Mahama time never be new. Now that's sumu. They no na 10% mechanic. The American is the base rate anyway. No, I buy no yet the obey to me say who Ghana ni who buy high. Or no vote to kakra or plenty. Or see they are buying ye biya. But the excessive finance person
government doing
is not to solve.
What is the government doing?
Using politics.
No, what is the government doing?
3 year can once UK. Omu friend Adam Smith nominates at time omu big economist and omu solve omu problem. If we don't want to come where we are today again, as I say, your friend penny for omu ti the cost nasi. No omu tinasi no omu solve. So who deal Alote John Mahama here? In 4 years, you will be here.
National dialogue.
That is how the world has solved its problems. So, Nanado no anya Nanado no UK Prime Minister. Nanado no Joe Biden. It's almost Nanado ne solve your economic problems economically.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, move on to the not topic. But make sure some messages kakra. Comments appeal too. Upon all this economy, NPP is better than the NDC 10 times. Okay, Kojo Amedome. Good afternoon, Nita FM, Mighty family. Thank you. Yauza Swame. The Central Bank of Ghana and the Economic Management Team keep implementing policies to stabilize the cedi against the US dollar and inflation, but it will be simply much ado about nothing until they block the leakages in the forex market and also implement tough measures to decrease the rate of importation. Greetings to Hope in Hope. Azeman Ventures Chronom of Ghana's economy is in hardship too much. Cost of living in Ghana is now high. Exchange rate is high. Price of goods and services, fuel prices keeps on increasing. Electricity and water tariffs has been increased. So we are pleading with the government to do something about it to avoid more hardships on the country. Hello.
This is pure finance.
Hello. Walanyo. Walanyo Akwasia. Things are hard though, but I'm hoping that there will be a relief. It is just a matter of perseverance. At the appointed time, there will be joy at last. Isaac Amwa, no, good afternoon, maybe I'm okay. Thaddeus upon is watching us live. Positive change, Medina. Thaddeus, baby, I will be good afternoon. Ghana is broke because there are no systems put in place. The government has also taken advantage of the situations and making capital out of our suffering. KK Kasoa and say the NDC is not a party to rescue us. They don't have anything better to offer Ghanaians. Let us trust President Akufo-Addo and the NPP. Kudos to Hawa Kumsin. Kwabena Pia is watching us live. Brapia baby, I will be Yachiao. Kwabena Pia said it's true. UK has hit 10.1 inflation. It was also the Abba Lily Wells and was Ishaba, okay, and also so Ishaba and Nel Cadiano and was say NPP government led by the fantastic President Akufo-Addo is serious about bringing back the economy. That's why the country is facing some heavy global challenges which is affecting our economy. But trust me, Nana Baumia will change it into positive direction. Long live Ghana, long live the NPP. Breaking the 8 is movement. We your mouth for binom Argentina. One more Ediaba. Mami share WhatsApp messages no. Na me fa kakra ento aso ansa na fe ya to aso eben Edway Efri Kwabenya and what the buy and was say incompetent President Akufo-Addo will go down in history as the most liability and corrupt president Ghana has ever had. He has no clue about governance, and I pity those that believe in him. Look at how he has messed Ghana's economy. He has destroyed every sector and still talking about breaking in the aid. In Shaba Nelka, I think I have radio on. Now, I'm sure we or say Kwaku UK. Hey, rather than me, yea, more fancy me.
The best station in the capital, Meet FM. 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 The best station in the capital, Need FM.
Osei Kweku UK and was the widespread corruption in the system is not solely the government in power. We have decided to build our nation through a corruptible means without considering the without considering to control the practice to ensure a disciplined and responsible society. Frankly speaking, we all desire to embark on revolutionary mindset. Positive change anyway free Medina. Ghana is broke. Okay, I think I've read that one too. And my main senior, no matter what Island boys will do or say, still Dr. Baumia will surely win the flag bearer contest and also win the 2024 general elections. I believe Edway Frenungwa and what they buy mistake inside and so on to the NDC Deputy Communications Officer for we in the NDC gave the treasurers Nanato led government an alternative to cut down the elephant size of government, to reduce extravagant expenditures, to stop renting luxurious jets and stop living like an Arabian king. But they didn't listen because they think they are the repository of all knowledge and the reality has exposed them. Never again to this nation wreckers and also the I am Kwabna Freedom. This government is planning to break the eight. NDC leadership are sitting down and watching them. Why? Wake up. Isa Edway for Isawam Zongo and what they buy. Kwabna Freedom, Billy Who, and Yako, people should stop blaming Nanado for not reshuffling his minister because he has no better person again to change. I was for way some of the messages are Mode Abba back in Ediamamo. A quick one, young court reviewing the free senior high school. Is that no?
I'm happy about this call. You see, the Hamagene say the current administration, I don't know, Danko Kufuado Dan. My conviction, and say that group came for a revenge and not to solve the problems of Ghana. Because a foot will be year two or more from even opposition. Or more be seen there. So at the time before some member office, now maybe acting general secretary of the Convention People's Party. Now including PPP, I must say the mantra of free education wholesale, it's more or less impossible. Into progressively free. Almost every opposition, civil society organizations, think tanks, echo the same thing. Almost say that is what they would do. Now, we also told them, say, to be able to implement it wholesale, and whom here say infrastructure will be in place. And whom here say all amenities needed to ensure say running smooth, you put those things in place. Financing, BBR. Now, what happened? When they came and there was no way they could go or they could renege on their promise, be implemented. But what happened again? Cabinet meeting decided, say, I dare not see a wholesaler, the economy will crash. Until now, the preaching now opposition, a preacher said, progressively free. That is how they went about it from the beginning. Because so over Kaya, they could not implement it from Form 1 to Form 3. They used 3 good years to implement it to Form 3. Now, we are no free one. Infrastructure now, making sure say we will use it to progressively give the education free. They halted it because they had their own promises. Say they will build 350 new fresh free senior secondary school blocks. The over that no so I can so much as status or tackle and do 2 years.
Some expansion.
Expansion sanko can a year bomb and if the excuses are no man say. How could you go and build a school block in the bush? Nanka, I don't even
expanded. Existing ones they expanded, they created more dormitories. More
it was later after bashing them. It took them after more than 4 years to restart some of the projects. because they realized that the infrastructure indeed there was a shortage there, right? And it was a problem, and the argument was that school needs to see them. Now that any akayemfa or hina school ekrobia ahimfie fanya school no. Yes school esi babia a better than one school for the nyasumdue asuade. And then so no sabe we see school na say e wachire kakra. We have buses that could send them there. And no nyina omo bu omo ni guso sa until say ade no aye critical. And the neighbor do baby edu as we speak. Ye ma akọ school amakwan ba no textbooks. We are saying said the John Mahama Kaya, His Excellency the former president. I agree in total. Sir, the private schools deserve also to have the benefit of the free, because every citizen in this country pays tax. So some of us cannot be using our taxes to take care of some people's children free, whilst those whose children are in private, they are not enjoying that one. So even though the burden is very huge, they should incorporate the private schools. But in incorporating them, what measures should we put in place to ensure they're running smooth? First of all, review the policy. And when they say review, as they said, it is equal to cancellation. It is not the case. Indeed, even if you have a policy and the policy is driving so well, it is important that you review it to even do better. And as a minister that are performing very well, it is important to reshuffle and take him to where a minister is not performing, to also structure that sector. But about what you say, no. Now, the reviews that we must do, in my opinion, to ensure say we can afford to feed our children in schools. We can afford to buy the uniforms or whatever it is, and
our children.
Yes, idea government bet me afa wholesale any a books, because maybe so I go school no. Your horse are near
maybe a tuition fee.
Exactly, a tuition fee. Your horse are near to say books aba. Na ye fee me kuro maybe a fro kujina. Ye free wa ba sawin so. Ndi ye yim krofo na ana ye de say card the books aba. Na ye allocated to the various schools. Na ye kwa swab ye kwa cry your fans. You understand? And then any hobby. Into the free SHS no. In normal betumi a year free mono. A business school fees we can pay. A business feeding fee we can pay. The other to me a any tuition. A be a tuition crap on how much? And no man so who fees say what the actually want and school to say how is it possible? Say school and mabru various schools there's topic called agric. Omoya agric, but there's no practical because say yeah full school now. In my days, not yeah a bro
school farm.
You bro. Your banchi, your mankeni. At the same time, even though we had those farms, yeah, co school, swa aduane at the co school. Obi di kontom rebeba, obi di bayre, mankeni so. Ni anua empecie school ho. Adade, I'm sure you participated in that.
I make I pass those times. No, primary school. Edria mango.
It's true.
Edria mango. Emma mango no so it. So exactly. Everybody round. Obi round. Obi pick.
Yes. Well, you're lucky. Obi around. We pick that abua awono. We be falling sa. Into what we're doing is even though we had the school farms, yeah, the aduane fifie mankani body banche. Yeah, the kwa. Yeah, will be on one aduane mayen. Yeah, boom. Come my twin was school. One kolani nyina obi abenya biedi. But the other interesting is who I would buy not buy was more or less a luxury because body and the nebu and I mean will be I am a bunch of swab into your more body buy a bano. I am not enough for no better check. Me see from now I am interesting to the point to say Adriani at the best school teachers near be a coffee and yesterday no even the fresh night into we should enforce the school farming system. Sure, Mammy, Medimanusi no. Mammy read this idea way more quickly, which would give a tear for the fact to say we don't come here and just talk. There have been practical examples, sir. You bet me I'll go back to ensure say these things will help our cause in terms of school feeding us here. Or say this is Tuesday, September 17, 1974. Operation Feed Yourself now. The students to feed themselves. Now I read the Dunkwao Secondary School will, as from the next academic year, not require government subvention for the purchase of gari and plantain to feed its students. According to Mr. J.Y. Aka, headmaster of the school, this was because the school's 40-acre Operation Feed Yourself cassava and plantain farms would yield more than the school requires. Other crops cultivated under the program include over 10 acres each of maize and yam and 10 acres of cocoyam, coconut, citrus, and vegetables. In an interview with Mr. Aka, he said the school had also set up a poultry farm with 1,600 birds and would be self-sufficient in egg production in 6 months. In 6 months' time. In addition, it also has a livestock farm of 30 sheep and hopes to establish a cattle ranch during the next farming season. Why can't we go back? History. Let's go back. A friend said, Accra, they can have a cattle ranch outside the premises of, outside the jurisdiction of Accra. Every secondary school can have sheep, goat, etc. And now, I'm go around, you see hatching fish, raise snails, grass cutter, rabbit. We should go back to those systems so we can be able to feed ourselves rather than rely on government. Say, government, why must a man take everything on his shoulders when we know, say, you can't do what you can't do what you have done? You fit back compare employers.
Yo, the round we how many minutes now? My
10 minutes.
10 minutes. You me that's
it. I be 7.
7. Me first 3 minutes. My info address intro and before the more channel. Mommy, the world is not under any recession. Want to me, don't blame anybody. What you say? And then Bloomberg, the currency is the most useless currency in the world. Under whose government? MPP. Then you come and tell us say there was a recession. How come Bloomberg and say say we are under that Nyawokano? That's why your currency is behaving this way. And then the whole of Africa, our inflation, the worst in Africa. Everything is pointing out. The economy has been mismanaged. Trying to lies just to get votes. If I'm you, young person, I will not come and sit here and be saying the same thing. Then you come and sit down and defend and say the same thing for them. Say, see, countries are recession now. There are factors, there are things. Where are those things? Want to be money in the economy. Under you know, inflation is the worst currency, the useless in the world after Sri Lanka. Can you imagine? And this is a report that they be able out from Bloomberg and so on. Under you, Fitch, Moody's, Fitch, downgraded you, S&P. Never has it before in our history say, oh, the ratings you feel all. Just say it. You can't come and sit here last with the same thing. Yeah, can inflation. You see, Obiton Gary, 200 cities, Obi to 800 cities, and that's the reason why. Can you imagine? Why do you take this as a young person and allow your big men just to be there and be chopping our money, wasting our time? Instead of you telling us the truth. The world is not that. Look, just go to Ivory Coast. Let's show you inflation. Show you debt to GDP. Show you exchange rate. Go to Burkina Faso. Then Togo and Benin. They all do very well. And they be a covenant and fetch. Wow. Your people they don't know their left from right. The economy has been mismanaged. Bibia say, just say it. My pain is that as a young person, when I hear you defend me, now who try and tell me, they say no, they have moved away from COVID, Russia, Ukraine, and say UK. UK has inflation 10%. And so we should go and sleep. Near cause is the whole world. Why can't you see the same thing in Ivory Coast, Burkina, Togo and Benin? Why can't you see it? Why? I don't know part of the near Ecowas, Russia and Ukraine. Can't it affect them, mommy? Oh, the people are not doing anything. The economy has been mismanaged. BBS say, they say it because we have never been. Look, all credit ratings in CCCC plus look C. S&P will be downgrade. Look at the exchange rate. Just if anything, according to finance minister, on budget for 2017, it was $1 to 4.2. It's 4.2. Now I said, and I'm 10, and you are still defending. And you can see that the reason why I'm 10 is People are taking their money away because the economy has been run down. Into music and cut back. And we are importing more. Sit here and tell us the solution. Now, then you come and say the same thing. Not in my presence, mommy. You are back to the secondary school review. No?
2 minutes.
Mommy, you can't want same sir. You can't almost say cancellation. You can't almost say cancellation. And the crown, no, and now, who told your friend is BFT, IFS, Institute of Physical Studies. The same thing. It's there. You can check in the pages. You can't almost say cancellation. I don't know when review became cancellation. I don't know the kind of dictionary Momo use. But you see, Obi how you say all trying to any power no, but trying to free power. So review become cancellation. You can't say something, mommy. It's very simple. The no and the BSA, the school system is not basa manya. So sit down and let's review no, mostly cancellation. And you say if they are ready, we are ready to support them because your leader Mahaman Wakasa, yen friend national dialogue, not only on economy, on all social issues, including the secondary school IFS is saying no. Now the issue on the private ones, you know, I mean, this is common sense. Common sense. What was the reason why I call a friend is saying double track? No, it's said we don't have more space. Maybe that was the main reason. So you don't have space in the government sector. So you are opting for double track. Meanwhile, you have private schools classrooms empty. This is common sense. And these are people who want to tax. And all the more you create jobs. People will get jobs to go and teach over there. And so on. People will sell material to those schools. We see there be. It's common sense. But essence, they think they know everything. And BBR just go and believe somebody. They couldn't involve them. They are there. What I say? More classroom, more teachers. They say BBR say they are home. And can say whatever amount of government schools no say 1,000 cedis per child now. Give me the same amount. Now me then I should be in business. And also want me here. So I don't know what they want us to do. Seriously. But I think say common sense here say the private schools no yen for moon count. Now yen stop it double track no because they have more space. Several you I make a crime and then make about 7 grade SS. Say I touch over there. We have action. We have Idea College. We have a punk. Constituency. Baby. Wow. Then someone secondary school. Private one. Baby. Just add them. Then try we can have proper academic system. Now say go school. First time we call April no. We be feel somewhere I think June, July also. We want to feel and they'll go in September. We want to feel 4 months. Doing what? And one, they will just go and cite UK inflation. This almost say they know everything. How can tell me school no? It was 3 times in a year. Eco school 9 to 10 months. Holidays here only 2 months in a year. Then some 4 months at home. Few days in the school. In Kuranda in a yapa. What do you mean politics? Much on trust the winning power. You understand the same every day be in trouble. Just lie. And BBA said every day be perform. SMP done the following day and I fish Subaye the following day Bloomberg every time be perform and you keep on telling lies.
Thank you so much. Hello, no other than Pacho Bremona FIA.
You that's it. If I say me take care the any cool
so for 7 minutes.
Enya den. Yama me no na hear me say in the whole conversation 126 e-blocks completed.
After I think
126 e-blocks completed as we speak. Take a Get Fund for website. Me, my Get Fund board member da. Enti minim dear womb. Mahama be free office. Now the only project Mahama had in Ghana here as his flagship program was to build 200 e-blocks. According to Okujeto, where online, will be able to check it. Each e-block will cost 6.5 million Ghana cedis. Now, just we multiply by 200, we needed 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to build 200 e-blocks in 4 years. Semibwa, Mr. Sanetano, catch Ghana for. You needed 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to build 200 e-blocks. World Bank, MINC, SC, Maku 14, Edi Che Ghana. Now Ghana for the Akano. ɛsɛ ye toaso ye wura John Dramani Mahama etumi wie maku 15 wo de ka 14 ni ho aye 29 we will get fund for website because get fund for the triaka it is ka get fund triaye no enu na auditors ne de to ho Ubisa Okujeto Kotu Napo, who was not the Minister of Education when he was Deputy Minister, and he was directly in charge. So Napo see almost 50. Pachano saw almost 50 out of 200. John Dramani Mahama in 4 years could not raise 1.3 billion to finance his flagship program. When to me and yet, Sabrina Nana Uda Sumuno. And then Nana do Danko Akufo-Addo every over 100 of them. Come school say as I speak, me say ko check it. Mami, you are the journalist here. Ko get fan na ko check it. Say nya no kura. Brabet na ho na ka kire obia me ba next week me ba be pacha. The American say if Nanado is able to raise over 2 billion every year to finance free SHS, Mr. Asanetando, I think you have no right to tell Nanado said, "Yo, to me raise it 2 billion a year for the past how many years? 4-5 years to finance free SHS. Multiply by 2 billion a year. Then they went to me and raising 1.3 billion in 4 years. And to me and financing or no school. Or no adi buy no. Why are there pa momon say ma there went to me and raising 1.3 billion no. They to me raising 2 billion a year. All costs are raising as we speak to finance our children's education. We see onu momo anya there was say Ghana. Please, I am ya say ya allow the NDC propaganda machinery to deceive Ghanaians this much. Because United has been previous semester na maka say sabio yenim de kakra nanso wo mo atie ye ni bebre chen ye professor fo adokota fo atie yen allotete ha say onu de o ka kire wo doctor ni wo pani a wo so wo nim de ni wo nim de a wo te ho say onu no o ka kire o say the world is not in a recession, the world has no problem. The 120 million ton Ukraine ship na afa na what to free wherever Africa no eso nim faso na UK kura no enya no kre say 10.1 inflation bi akoso na they have a 30 year 20. Oh, he said exactly what he said. He said the world is not in a recession.
UK
please,
drew 10.1.
Mamilandi. I know there are correction after I engaged him. After I engaged him continuously off air, no, and Obabe can't your wukano. But or see the world is not in a recession. Or can't me say, and Crawford nimde. Echen sabio sabin predia say bia ya ti hai. Na wo mo atie ye no, enye bia mpo me kan si so. Omo nimde chan ye. Enti ubetna hana wu pesa ohwi anwea gu ani a ese wa me say if Mahama could not raise 1.3 billion for his free SHS his e-blocks, which was his only project that he beat his chest to, he couldn't do it and he's not ashamed about it. That's his business. But obia otie minim say when to me and we e-blocks no obia te say opa na danko Akufo-Addo chew say schools no gumura mu nti onko wie ma no. As I speak, may catch Ghana for say 126 are operational. I dear run to me and yet, or this year, Johnny Aqua, the who are Johnny Yao so ya one wababe. But Mamin Twaso, Obiba say you are just trying to communicate. But let me tell you, private schools, no, some of have been a board member of the Get Fund. Intimately, I mean, private schools no have been receiving support from Uganda and New Bottom, from the Get Fund. Yama on buses. In fact, there are so many things omunya. But obi biara or can say like Ghana yen caught into financing private institutions, no. Onjune ho kakra.
Yes, ye finance you. Who's a private school so Ghanaians children go there. Meanwhile, no government school entimi fa Ghana nkola nyina
mo bia o ma me landi a obeti ase. Enti na make say obi a was a proposal no onjune ho kakra. Eye mene wo ya adwen say Ghana for nkwala na ewo ho enti nkwala omo wo ho no they also deserve to enjoy from their taxes. But ade omo aye negotiations pa o private schools no organizations omo associations no any aban akasa ho pa proposals bebre aba. Private school no ye profit oriented ono eseso nya ne mfaso aban school no emfaso nka ho nti aban betua teacher nika na te said Mr. Soneta no kan ye aban ama books na bia sese kura de empaboa chalewa te ne niama nyina ni namase na akwara no yama na aduane ni niama me say obi ka say yem package sa niama ni nyina na yem fa private schools na e dia na aka biomu a ka private school no no oye nti an ka me de metumi bia school na meti dem na me jim fa so bum Africa na ni botom nti me nka say omon deserve moa me say as at the time I was a member of the Get Farm board no na ye ma wo moa na so moa no say na emra me those are the conversations I want us to have. Are we going to give them bursaries say obi a okọ private school no e bia aban betua say ama akwala bia at least ana aban be ma won books ana te say dem can say ye ma won buses e bi wo ho ya akọ see dormitories e bi wo ho na aban has so many interventions a omo ye sa niama no na yenye ana yenye ne say that conversation they have been having me I'm not part of those conversations me said no mu ka ho asem but bia akosi na me ntumi nkyere but you better me decide ne ho komo sign say it comes to solve the gap problem but you can't gap problem no so na ya na nkrofo aka ne ya say double track schools kakra bi na ya double track wo Ghana ha o the hundreds of thousands of schools I work Ghana ha no kakra bi e na omo ya double track bebrebe na aka ni nyina eco school straight na me ka ma me next week me ba ha me di hard facts ebebrel schools ana na do ba ye wasi awie double track dodo a ye wie double track dodo a ye wura mahama wie ya ansa na all free so na ma kire wo se na danko akufo ado afa mahama ono ankasa sebi predra se wetumi adware na abo no powder because ni projects the ni wura edija no atamels dija no nyina no majority na danko akufo ado na be wie ya wa commission enti no muma yenya abotra me say next week me di facts ne beba manfa ma mu si me hu me am de beba na ye nyina ye tie bi enti ma me kan twato no o kan bibi about free SHS no say ye be ye no de obetumi atua ma me mesra ma bisa Ghana for me de me ne no ye ni afi kakra ye nyi kakra bi ye nyan cross ye be akoye ni e chan alote de me pesa Ghana for tie ni say time akoko scholarship wo ho me beto ye time a ye wo bursaries secondary school no na ye tua scholarship bi a ye friend bursary na ye wo ba ko an kwala omo abin me na me enjoy bi omo abin ye ma on scholarship say bi o Ghana for me sremo koko for ma say na nya koko scholarship bi ko school enna wo mo bursaries na aban tua no de obetumi say bi o mu fa nche me be no de obetumi atua enna ne nsaka koko scholarship koko kwiani a onam nwura mu no na onam koko na aseti koko no na ne ba nya bi na obi a oti koko board na ne ba enya koko scholarship not the co school not the co university wa kwatra but the American is say ye be ye ntina say de obetumi atua ankotua na de ontumi ntua ye mfama na eno ne de na under president Kufuor ye for brilliant and needy students no eno brilliant and needy but needy students no ni pa say na enjoy ye na sikani na kotua bribe na ya ma ne ba no scholarship na wo ohiani no na wo ba atua iti mi sasa ne tando de ma ya na do kan say enkofa problems bi amre yen say enkofa say Kwame Adade ba betua na bi a finance minister ba na nka onu betumi atua ma nipa aduonu nipa aduasa no na onu ne ba no ko ni free nti ye ma obi anko ni free wo sika na obeboa school na obi anka say menko si school dan ye fa ne say ye we finance minister na kakra won nsem na obe si school dan ama ni formal school we bi a Chimota school a okosi dormitory che wo mu a why na be kan say oye mpe ana wo popular na won ko Makurasi secondary school na wo kosi dan a che Makurasi school na why na si ukwan eno be boa asrin say ye be ka say de owo sika ntua na de wo be hu say sika ni ba ko free na hia ni ba na me ni Mr. Saneta no na ye nam na ye
petition akotia say Kwame Adade Mr. Tano wrap up ma
me wrap up the simple aya Bob Ko na nyom na yetu a branch for say sebe nkwasi America na woko no o ahwe yi abi ba be ka no so o ka sa ayum no
kayo
afuponko yum no afuponko yum no no wagba ma yewura alan
foreign number ya no wagba yum
na no wagba ma yewura alan chematin amame because that topic na ke be discuss na yenya ndi abosa afuponko no yum
mate
obi akwa yunu mako na okutre ho I want to for say okra no beka say kraman eye nkwase ade bi wo kwan no ho nti on mehwe na omo so na wo awi de bibia beka wa so ye kromfo na okka kire fupon na o se dabi masa wo twa ntro do wo wi anso e kire no ye behunu na ugani ye de na ye ko so na asia papa
Meda CP Eusiafo Aseda Kese enko Emma Mr. Enesa Dade Mr. Emmanuel Adote Alote Mr. Yao Asane Tano wada romano beboa Emma discussions no etimi ekoso Emma ye sabre dwumadie nyina de abawie ye mede aseda eni kabia Emma obibia onya bre etie yen sanso ena aseda enko Emma production crew Jo Damia Domagjerio sa adwuma na afei Isaac Osei Brobe na yen Facebook live and so frema abankro na yaw safo wadaroma na wotutu niema nyina de ema ye ma bibia ekose kama me sorry so OLA Michael ebeje adwa na wagye yen tata de yen akofie nyame ya doma ye besan ehye bio